Hi, Armcharies. It's Miniature Mouse here. I just wanted to add a little disclaimer to this episode. If you haven't heard, SAG-AFTRA has joined the strike. So it's a double strike now with the WGA, and it is important to say that we recorded this episode before SAG went on strike. So when we're talking about projects and everything we talk about, please note that we have since striked and some things have changed, but wanted to make that clear. Now let's on with the show.
Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard. I'm joined by Lily Padman.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Happy Monday morning to you.
Happy Monday.
Yeah.
I hope it's a great week for us and for the Armcharies.
It's going to be. Summer's at a lather.
Summer is here, thank goodness.
Yes,
we earned it this year.
Absolutely. Out here we did. Gang, we have a returning guest who affectionately is known, if you know her, as Liz Banks.
That's right. I thought you were going to say E-Banks.
Oh, I wonder if people call her E-Banks.
I do.
I hear her often called Liz Banks.
Yeah.
But Elizabeth Banks is back. She's an actor, a producer, and an incredible director. We were raving about Cocaine Bear.
Yes.
Unsolicited, way before she was going to be on as a guest. She directed that. She directed Pitch Perfect 2. She directed Charlie's Angels. She was in The Hunger Games. She has a new movie out that she acts in that's really, really great called The Beanie Bubble, as in the Beanie Babies bubble.
And if you're of my gen, this is for you. It will speak to your nostalgia.
It's so good. The Beanie Bubble is out in theaters July 21st and on Apple TV July 28th. But go to the theater, have the experience, enjoy Liz Banks, but enjoy Galifianakis and maybe my favorite role he's had.
You know, for all the armchair experts out there.
The 4 prompts for August, Armchair Anonymous, these were all derived from Monica's brain. I want to give you full credit for these 4.
Well, we're all one.
Okay. Well, number 1, tell us about a time you ended up naked in public. Oh, I can't wait to hear how this happened. Number 2, worst job interview. Tell us about your worst job interview. Number 3, tell us about a time you're grateful you lied. A white lie that turned out golden.
Exactly.
And number 4, bad landlord experiences. And again, to submit these, go to armchairexpertpod.com and you can submit them there. And if you're selected, we will call you and chat with you. So feel free to give us your stories. Again, tell us about a time you ended up naked in public, worst job interview. Tell us about a time you were grateful you lied, and bad landlord experiences. Please enjoy Elizabeth Banks.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Your sweater has Dax's initials on it.
It does.
Yeah, I thought maybe you did that on purpose.
I'm not that clever.
You're not that nice.
No, I did not even realize. I actually put on these jeans today, which I haven't worn in a very long time.
They're cute.
They're too much.
No.
Yeah, no, they're too much.
I think they work well with the sweater.
Well, that's what happened, was I was like, I need to cover up half of these jeans. Because I'd already put my shoes on. I was like, well, I can't take the pants off now.
Sure, I get that.
So basically, this sweater was just to cover up the jeans.
What do you think makes them too much? Like, you think it's an excessive amount of holes, or you're showing too much leg?
Look how much holes.
How are you doing, Liz Banks? Be honest with me. Don't sugarcoat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're on a writer's strike, and that's not great.
What part?
I do want the writers to get what they need. And I have experienced all of the issues that they've brought up.
Right.
Everything from the mini rooms and the not training people and not hiring people at their level, not promoting. Like, I've seen all of it happening as a producer.
What about AI, though? Have you ever had someone
The AI
imitate
of it,
your writing style with AI?
Here's the thing. It's not going anywhere.
Oh,
It
no.
ain't going
It's-
back in the
no,
box.
This is the lightest it'll ever be, actually. actually.
Correct.
Yeah, every hour.
It is exponentially taking over our lives as we're sitting here. I understand why everybody's like, we want to have the opportunity to use it. I do think we do need some parameters.
I agree.
And I don't know what those are.
How do you
but I
police
also
that,
know
you
that
know?
they have a lot of techie people involved in the negotiations.
Eggheads.
They probably don't know much either, but they know more than me.
No one knows. No one knows. No one has
No
any
more than I
clue.
do.
Mine and I have had this conversation about 11 times now on
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
which is even if they gave you carte blanche to make some rules, you couldn't. You can't conceptualize what's going to happen.
You can say, past the outline phase, you cannot use AI to write a script. You could say that.
Well, you could say that. How on earth would you police that?
What do you mean? When the studio brings you the outline, you're like, okay, it was written by AI because there's no name on it. It's not WGA. Nobody's registered to it. And then you go like, okay, great. I'll work from this as a writer. Pay me. I don't care if the writers use it as a tool. That's what your question was. That's what your question was.
I don't
So let's just.
I don't care if the writers use it as a tool. I don't want the writers replaced by the AI.
I don't either.
But the writers are going to use it as a tool. Who cares? Great, let them.
So then the writer can have AI write the script for them.
They can.
Okay.
they won't
But the
be-
producer can't.
No.
Does that seem a little crazy to you?
Here's the problem. Like, we're going to lose the art of writing. We're not going to create new, fresh stuff. And we're going to have gatekeeping. So am I, as a producer, willing to give up past the stage of here's the outline to an actual human? I'm willing to give that up.
I'm a little confused by that. So you're saying as a producer.
As a producer, I can say, let's generate an idea from AI.
Okay, you're saying that AI did the outline.
They did the outline.
Okay. Here's what's curious. So basically then, if the writers are allowed to have AI write their scripts,
Yeah.
then they're not writers.
I like that
okay?
the two of us are like, we're going to figure this out.
No, we're not. We're not going to figure it out.
And here's the
if-
thing. That's what I'm saying. We're not going to figure it out.
We're not going to figure it out.
I don't know anything.
And
I
people
literally
are
don't know
going to
what
be
I'm
mad
talking
at me
about.
because I'm in the WGA. I've
Me
sold
too.
many, many
I know.
scripts. I'm
Yeah.
all about protecting writers. But I also cannot live in la la land because I believe that. So I
Yeah.
have to first ask myself this. Right now, there are certain tumor scans that the human doctors only get right at 61%. The AI will identify the cancerous tumor at 94%. So we would never tell a human they're not entitled to use the better diagnostic equipment for their health. But we are rendering that person's job useless. So what we've said is I'm a writer and I value my health. So I'm happy to render your job obsolete, but you can't render mine obsolete. That's a little dicey.
You bring up a great point. Except this. One is a very scientific, already computers involved.
There's a right or wrong
job. And then there's something that's creative, right? That's about the human spirit and holding a mirror to society. And the AI can only learn from what already exists, right?
Yes,
it
yes.
doesn't make new things
No,
out
it
of
does
nothing.
make new things. Yeah, it does. It writes its own books and it writes its own original scripts and it writes
Based
its
on what?
own.
Because somebody created that AI and they're programming it and then they let it run. So what implicit bias is already built into it?
You know how to write a script because you've read scripts. You're
Yeah.
AI. I'm AI. We know the format. We know what dialogue sounds like. That's what the AI does.
Yeah.
It is new, original stuff. It does create. And it does the same thing we do is it recognizes patterns and then it recreates its own pattern based on
Yeah, yeah.
that common language.
I just watched with a group of friends for the last year and a half every Best Picture winner that the Oscars ever gave. We
Okay.
did a Best Picture movie watching club.
Okay, great.
You
Do you
would
have
like
a
this
favorite?
club.
Yeah, I'd love it.
We just wanted to watch the winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the patterns that just come out of it, I didn't like stick in a data set or anything.
Yeah.
But for instance, the number of black leads in those films, what would you guess? Of the
Black
100.
leads.
A black
And there's
lead.
100?
Yeah.
12.
2.
Oof. Yeah, closer to 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like driving
I would
Miss
think color
Daisy.
purple maybe. I don't know.
Color Purple. I
don't even know if
think
that
it
won, but-
Best Picture.
Right.
I don't think it did. We didn't watch it. It did not win Best Picture. Moonlight, which was like 5
2
years
days
seconds
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
week.
This is my point. It
Yeah.
took a long time.
Yes,
Yeah.
but in our theoretical debate,
Yeah.
what we have to both agree on is just like the doctor, it has to be better. So we have to have this
Yes.
conversation assuming that what if the AI is better at writing than
It might
humans
be.
are?
But I mean, do you think it comes up with everything everywhere all at once?
I don't know.
Exactly.
But
This
we
is the
have
point.
but again,
We don't
we have to compare
know.
apples to apples. So
No, we
it
also
has
have
succeeded.
to negotiate with the producers. here and now.
Aren't
We
you
don't
one-
have the
Aren't
future.
you the producer?
We don't have the future.
Yeah, and she's saying even as a producer, she's willing to say,
I'm willing to
protect this.
Let's protect this right now.
That's what I
For,
was
by the
saying.
way, until the next negotiation, which is in 5 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Things may
isn't-
be different.
We're not saying forever. The last negotiation, it was like, you guys streaming and Netflix. It's like, it's not a thing. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even a big
Exactly.
deal.
You want to talk residuals
You know what I
on
mean?
streaming? You will get me on the party line. 1,000%.
Right.
But I'm asking you to imagine a hypothetical
That AI
where
is better.
every movie script that comes
Yeah.
out is a triangle of sadness.
Right.
In fact, it's better.
Triangle of sadness.
It's better. And so we're now going to say you have to take a product that's less good as
A
the
human
known
product
one.
that's less good.
That's less good. And you're going to have
Right.
to do that philanthropically out of the goodness of your heart. You're going to suffer a customer. That's an interesting
but we
proposition.
won't suffer.
I don't know if you suffer
That's
a
only what
customer.
we have.
Exactly. Like, they don't know that there was something better.
Okay, so that's a fairy tale too. That will not do it. But then China will have the AI
That's
that can
my
write the better
fear.
script. And now they'll produce the movies that are significantly better than ours. And we will completely die in the competition war because we didn't get realistic about it.
There are all these scenarios. There's all these eventualities we can't predict.
Yeah.
By the way, the whole business is a hot mess.
All industries are facing this exact issue.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
We are not the only one. So we're in a transition, whatever that looks like. And so my point is, well, we only get to negotiate the contracts at certain points in time. We have this moment in time to protect something a little bit longer, Dax, while we figure out if the AI actually is going to do a better job.
I like that.
I just want to
Oh my
protect
God.
it a little
You did
bit
it.
longer. And then at the next negotiation, we all go like, oh my God, guys, can we just all agree the AI is fucking killing it?
Dude, they wrote 6 Pulp Fictions this
like, we
morning,
need-
and they're all better than Pulp Fiction.
Like, we gotta, sorry, Charlie from Ohio, get back on the bus. Don't come to Hollywood. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
I think though what's interesting, if we watched Pulp Fiction made by AI, if all the movies were made by AI, I wonder if we'd even revere it the same. Because
Well-
we know it's a machine.
Yeah.
There's something about knowing that came from a human
Thank you.
brain.
I love this.
That's why we're blown away. That
Yep.
somebody was able to create this.
Yes.
If it's a machine, it's like, yeah, duh.
I agree with you,
I
but the
agree
praise
wholeheartedly.
would just transition to the actors playing out
Well,
the parts in
okay,
the script. They would just
but
get all that love
I have
and
another
attention.
question for you. So
Yes.
you go to the set of a television show. Who's running the set?
The writers.
How do they learn how to do that if they aren't involved from jump? Are there no showrunners? The computer made the thing, and now we just hire producers who make all those, as you know, on the fly decisions.
Game day
because
decisions.
the thing can become something different based on the alchemy of the people involved well after the actual script's written.
Agreed.
We cast a person, but there's no chemistry. We can't have a love story anymore. We got to make them cousins.
Pivot. But I do think the AI would then pivot. You'd say, this isn't working. Someone there would be
Okay,
feeding,
well,
guiding the
so what
AI.
you're saying is the guide, because I'm obsessed with prompt writers, and I've barely played with this. Well, what is the prompt? What do I need to tell it to do
Right.
to get the exact thing that I want it to do?
Yeah. It's
That's
kind of
what I
like
want.
searching. Like when you're trying to figure something out, you're like, God, what would I even search?
like,
what are the
even
keywords I would search? You know?
yeah, I'm
But
bad
even
at that.
today, I'm driving over here. I was like, I need to find out if I have this thing in my inbox. I was getting a link for something to watch. I was on the phone with someone. So who's it coming from? Let me check my email. And now I'm like, Siri, check. I was like, it can't.
You don't
It
know where to
doesn't do
start.
it.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, it can, but you don't know how
It
to
can,
do it.
but I don't have the
Same.
I don't have the right extension or
Me,
whatever.
that's
in
what's
the front.
ironic about me arguing this way. I've never used Chat GTP. I'm never probably gonna. I don't
You
understand.
are gonna.
I don't know. I
You're
don't
gonna
have
use
much
the next
need
version
for
of it for sure.
This is the point that I feel like I got a little sway with Monica. She'll maybe disagree. But I said there is an experiment that's been running now for 13 years. That is the internet and social networks. So I give you, Liz Banks, a time machine right now. And I say, okay, well, now we know what happened. I'm giving you the right to go back 13 years and make a law that will prevent that. What law do you make that fixes?
Oh.
Like we've already now seen the outcome and we still wouldn't know how to legislate something.
Oh, I don't know if that's true.
What would you do?
Your algorithm is meant to maximize eyeballs and time. So we know those companies are just looking for our attention. And we always knew, and so did they, that psychologically conflict and the bad news keeps our attention longer than the truth and the good news.
That's right.
So if we'd actually just fucking set the algorithms,
But what would you say to the algorithm? Because I will say this, I got to defend them a little bit.
you care about capitalism or you care about democracy at this point. They coexisted for a while, and now they're not going to.
I'm not going to let you paint me as a capitalist, an anti-capitalist, a social enemy. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is that the algorithm they designed often produced results they didn't anticipate. They couldn't
Like the
think of it.
dopamine release. and
Like
stuff
the
that.
YouTube algorithm.
They definitely knew about
they
the
knew,
dopamine.
yeah, but we didn't know for a
We
while.
didn't know.
Yeah.
They did
They
know,
knew.
but they also did not foresee the radicalization.
Except that then when they started seeing the data,
They didn't change
they
it.
didn't
Yes,
change it.
I agree.
And I love also when people say things to me like, well, this is just the way it is, or this is the law. And I'm like, you act like the law is some
Carved in.
God,
Yeah.
like we're human people
We make
made
laws.
that.
Yeah.
We made the fake border between America and Canada. There's not an actual fucking border.
Well, some of the rivers.
We
systems.
made it, but like
We
the St.
decided
Lawrence
that-
River. We decided well, that was the St. Lawrence River. At the end of the day, we made this all up.
It's a story.
We
Yuval Harari.
We're
Sapiens.
all in the mythology together.
We are, yeah.
I did read Sapiens,
Yeah.
you can tell.
It's very obvious.
My kids will ask me questions. Their answer will be like, well, why don't we just stop doing that? And you're like, yeah, what's
Yeah.
climate change? Why don't we just stop taking oil out of the ground? Yeah, I mean, that is the right answer, of course. But there's literal countries that we made up with their made up borders and they have the oil. And if we don't take the oil out of their ground, they might not be a country anymore. That's the level of ramification we've built into this made up system.
I'm with you, but I also think there's a level of pragmatism that's being ignored. And the truth is, we don't have a choice. Just because we adopt some policy here in the US does not mean it's going to be adopted globally. In fact, it's not going to. So all that's going to happen is the other countries that don't police and crack down on it will be a generation ahead of us. And in the world of AI that is self-teaching, a generation ahead can never be caught. So you're also saying, here's my policy, and I concede to the fact that Russia or China will be making all rules going forward to the end of time ad infinitum. That's the other reality. You can't
I
pretend
think you're
that.
overstating that.
How? You think Russia's going to like adopt some kind of ethical?
Who knows? Putin could get shot tomorrow. He could have a heart attack. COVID showed me that literally everything can change in a day. Climate change could be solved. They could find some mineral somewhere at the bottom of the fucking
You know who's
ocean.
going to solve it? AI.
Here's the thing. We
Okay, now
actually
really
already
quick.
know how to solve it. We don't have the political will to do what needs to be done because we all are going to have to give things up.
When AI solves global warming, they render every environmental scientist now obsolete. We'll be like, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, guys.
You're
different.
acting like we have enough information always that the AI will be fed with that information enough to like figure out what's going on. We don't know how space works. We don't know how the bottom of the ocean works. Like AI ain't going to the bottom of the ocean and they don't got a data set from there because the humans haven't gone down there to give it to them yet. There's multiple steps here that still need to be taken for us to actually progress through this whole thing is my point. There's so much we don't know. We can't solve cancer.
AI will.
Maybe.
It will read all 7 billion people's genetic code,
yeah.
all of their medical history.
But you're then also assuming that the AI goes like, guys, just do this. Here's how you deal with the cancer. We've tried. People are still going to smoke. You're acting like we're going to do whatever it says. We're not. There's still all of our fallibility built into this system.
Well, what's great is, so you were here last time in 2019. It's 2023. Yeah, October. So 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is weird because to me it feels like maybe 14 months ago you were here. I don't know if you had that sensation too, but I was like, she must have just was here a year and a half ago.
This morning when I was going through my closet, I was like, oh, that's what I wore the last time I
Oh,
went there.
wow.
Oh my gosh, what a memory. We will meet again in 3 years and 6 months.
Okay.
And we'll find out who was more on the path of what was going to happen.
If we're still here.
Yeah. It might be robots sitting in these chairs.
Or
Yes.
the fires came and burned
Or
LA
the
to the
fires
ground.
came.
We'll own
Or
our-
the earthquake came and burned us to the ground. That's what I mean. When everyone's like, the AI and this, I go, tomorrow's not guaranteed. I don't know why everybody's freaking out so much. We could also slow down. All the AI people, they're like, yo, slow down.
I'm with that. There's two different conversations for us to have.
Yeah.
One is you give me ultimate power over the planet. Virtually everything you're saying, I will behave along those lines. We're in accord on that. That's, I have all the power in the world. I don't think I do. I don't think this country does. And I don't think we're going to be able to play by the rules we want to play by.
I am on your side with that where I worry about other countries because I don't think China's going to care.
But what are they going to do? They're going to like invade Taiwan?
Well, they're going to be, they're definitely going to be the
But like,
cares,
you
I
guys,
guess.
they're spying on us already. They have all of our faces.
Yeah.
You know, they know my
They're
children.
smaller. We are still dramatically more powerful than them globally. Both with our economy still much bigger, our military's
Yes.
4 times the size. We are still absolutely the hegemonic power on planet Earth.
Yeah.
That could change.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do a great job. Maybe they'll be a better steward of
They
this
won't.
place than we were.
They can't breathe the air in Beijing. They need to solve for things as well. You did the USO tour?
Yeah.
So great, isn't it?
Yeah. I went to Afghanistan, though.
So
I didn't
did
go
I.
we must have talked about that. Did we?
well-
Where'd you go? What year?
I went 2016.
I went in 07 and 09. Where'd
I
you
went
go?
to Bagram, yeah.
Did you fly up to FOBs on helicopters and shit?
I wish.
Why didn't they do that? Because you're a girl?
No, because there was a bombing nearby. All of the guys, they were like, we're going to miss the show. Jump into Blackhawks and skidoots out to go handle.
Some business.
30 people got murdered in a market the night we were there.
We had a similar
It's
thing.
hardcore.
We flew to this little fob on the border of Pakistan
Yes.
called Islamabad.
Well, this is what I was going to talk about. Yeah.
We're in the middle of our comedy show, and all of a sudden they start firing the howitzer about 11 feet from the DFAC we're doing our show in. And everything's shaking. People are slowly starting to disappear. You know, you're in that position where you're like, is this
Yeah.
insane? Or do we keep going? And then virtually there's only 3 people left. And they're like, okay, guys, go to the flight line. This whole evening has changed
Yes.
dramatically. And it's the
Right.
same thing.
How about everyone's got their M4 the whole time?
Yeah. If they don't like that joke,
We're not there anymore.
No,
we're not
we
there
are not.
anymore. No.
No.
I was having really a hard time grasping reality while I was there. Both times. Half the time I'm on a helicopter and we were getting shot at and they shot at a building and we were circling it and they're firing at this thing. I'm like, we're in a war movie. That's my architecture to think of this. I'm like, we've teleported to a war and we're sitting on this helicopter and they're firing at them and they're firing at us. I feel protected because I feel like I'm in a movie.
There's also so much conversation about how they're keeping us safe.
Yeah.
But also they were like, no, you're not allowed to bring your husband because if something happens to you, like, we're not orphaning your
God.
kids. And you're like, great, I can't wait to be there.
But you're really protected. Don't worry.
But you're really protected. It's
Yeah.
a very small likelihood anything bad will happen.
But then you realize you're not. You're a human sitting in a war zone with
Yeah.
everyone else.
When the plane takes off and they go literally straight up because they're like, we got to outrun the RPGs as fast as possible.
Yeah,
and
they do the corkscrew landing. Oh my God.
And we had to kick off at night, and it was like, and we're going to turn all the lights off because we want to
Oh
go out
my
as quiet.
God.
Yeah, there's
And
some
then
red lights with dudes
Yes.
peeing in the corner.
And they like turned up all the Black Hawk rotors so they wouldn't hear us landing and taking off.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
yes,
Like
yes.
stuff like that was going on. So
It's
like
all
there
quite
were
real.
safety measures.
I was ducking in and out of reality. I was like, I can't tell
Yeah.
if this is real or not. I was when saluting on the flight line in the middle of the night and it's raining and they're playing the bagpipes. and I was like, ooh.
forget it.
I definitely had chills, right? But
Yeah.
it wasn't until I got home and I think I talked to my mom like 5 days after it. And she's like, well, how was your trip? And I'm going through it. And now as I start getting into that part about Islamabad, I'm like, having a hard time telling you. And now all of a sudden I'm like
It's hitting
crying.
you.
Yes, I'm crying on the phone with my mom and I think, well, if I never talked to her, I don't know if I would ever acknowledge
Have
that was really kind of,
processed it.
yes, traumatic and emotional and all those things.
Yeah. So we went to multiple cities and we ended the trip in Germany at whatever. I'm blanking.
McDonald's.
By the way, somebody did go to McDonald's at
course.
like 2
I'm
a.m.
sure.
After a week in
Because
Afghanistan,
we were like,
you
we need some
McDonald's.
cheeseburgers. But it's a big medical facility too, right? It's where everybody gets flown when the bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
And so we were there kind of like with people who are getting to go home or going back to the States. This one guy was like diagnosed with MS.
Oh.
You know, he was just a soldier one day. I was like, yeah, this thing's kind of weird. And they were like, you know what? We should send you for more tests. And then like he had MS.
I think I'm now remembering, though, that maybe we did talk about this and bonded over the fact that did you go meet the doctors there when you were at Bagram?
Yeah.
We walked in, I was like, oh my God, this is a reality show. Everyone's hot as fuck. The doctors were all
I don't think we talked
insanely
about that.
hot.
we did
And I was
either. I
like,
don't
But in
remember
life, maybe we've talked about that.
Okay. I was like, whoa.
In seeing each other, maybe we've talked about that.
the special forces guys.
They were.
They're all 10s. They're 10s.
They're like firefighters times 10.
Wow.
And I'm all about a firefighter, okay?
Sure.
So if you give me a firefighter and then there's special forces, are you kidding me?
Can you hold these slacks?
I couldn't.
I was
It
like, are they screening them for looks in addition to their physical aptitude?
And also that they're looking into my soul. soul right now.
They're very intelligent.
Emotionally intelligent, though. It actually gave me a lot of hope that our system kind of works. Because, you would talk to these guys, they're like, yeah, I didn't even go to college. And then they start talking about the work that they're doing and the care that they have for it.
Oh, yeah.
And, this policy of us, we were ripping them out every 9 months. They would go home and they're like, I need to get back. They've built all this trust with the locals there. This is what they want to get back to. And now the new guy, and they didn't have enough time to bring him up to speed. And he's not going to know everything. And you do think, wow, without that consistency, it's not that surprising that things didn't go 100% how we wanted them to. But the dedication of those guys.
Yeah, I was having this moment quite often where I just kept going, some of these people are so good at this, and there's no application for this skill set
Correct.
in real life.
That's what's interesting to me.
Yes,
they
I was
got funneled
obsessing about
into
it.
those jobs.
I'm like, God, it's weird. I saw this dude. We've been with him for 2 or 3 days. I talked to him a bunch of times. He's jacked, really gregarious dude. And he's standing on top of a Humvee, and he's got 8 vehicles that are going to follow him on patrol. And he's on top of the turret, and he's like, all right, let's go kill some motherfuckers, and waves his arm. Okay. It's like watching a movie. And I'm like, you can't put that dude at Walmart. He's not going to become manager. He was born to do this thing. And it's so weird that there's no place for him in real world. And yet we need people to do this stuff.
It's complicated. I brought all this up because we were talking about the hegemony of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we were talking about on our tour with all of our Marines that were guarding us was, okay, so we have more bases than any other country and they're spread out. We have, 92 international bases or something like that. So we're the world police, essentially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They made a movie about it.
I don't know.
They made a real
Avengers?
satirical movie about that. We go, okay, but why does it have to be us? And the answer always is, we have a constitution that has human rights written into it. Mm-hmm. We have a value system. And if it's not us, then there are only two other choices. So it's either Russia or China.
Or Guam.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So would you rather it's us or you want it to be them?
Yeah. If I'm listening right now in France, I'm in Paris, I'm like, fuck all these people.
Yeah,
but
fuck them.
Of the shitty 3 options, I guess I'll
This
go
is
with
the point.
Uncle Sam.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I guess I'll let them keep some planes
these
here every
arrogant,
once in a while.
loud, fucking obnoxious
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
Let's let them run the
We
world.
went to a base in Sicily where we fly drones out of. The Italian people are like, yeah, I guess. Can you imagine another country? We're like, yeah, we're just going to let France have some land in Montana.
Exactly.
Oh, I remember.
And run their military operations out of it. It's like, what?
I remember being struck by that when I went to Germany with my mother when I was 17. And every 12th exit on the Autobahn is for an American military base. I was like, what if everywhere we drove in America, there's German military bases? It'd be so weird. And we just don't even think about that.
We don't.
We're like, yeah, of course we're there. Aren't you guys stoked?
It's all complicated.
It is. Let's talk about Cocaine Bear.
First of all, you guys were such sweet, wonderful supporters of Cocaine Bear.
It was so good.
Monica was at this screening we hosted.
I've seen video of the screen.
Yeah.
After we had seen it randomly in Atlanta, Georgia. And we went, and as you know, because we sent you a lot of voice memos, screaming, laughing, also bonding with strangers in the audience who I now know also love cocaine like I did. There's tears of getting the jokes. And I think obviously the cocaine users in the audience found certain scenes particularly amusing, as I did. There were many moments that I was astounded that you had gone for it so hard in the paint.
Yeah.
Some of the set pieces, they're to be marveled at.
Thank you.
The one that ends with the woman dragging her face on the ground.
Yeah. Margot Martindale.
Margot.
Yes.
Well, technically ends with, what's her name, going out the front of the ambulance.
Sure. Does it ever end? I don't know. It's it kind of starts there and then I don't know. Then we have credits at some point. But sometimes you see a movie and you're really pleased someone's still just going for it. I want to know, did that movie in its script form go that hard? If so, were there any moments where you lost your conviction or refound it or were challenged, or were you pretty protected by Lord and Miller? That kind of made sense to me when I saw that they were involved. I thought, okay, that's the kind of cover fire you need.
I didn't need any cover fire. I made movies with Universal before.
Yeah. But listen, you made a huge hit.
Yeah.
And then you made a stinker.
Oh, how dare you? No.
I made one too.
I made a movie that didn't make money.
That's right.
I didn't make a stinker. I made a
Okay.
movie.
I meant
I'm very
financially.
proud
That's
of
a
my
good
movie.
distinction.
I meant
Yeah.
financially.
I'm very proud of that
I'm
movie.
incredibly proud of my movie too,
Yeah.
but it did not perform at the box office.
That's
a reality. So you have total leverage at one point, and then after you have one that doesn't perform financially, it does change.
But the things that were in that movie, the ambition of that movie, the jokes of that movie, the
Really
humor,
quick, I didn't mean to hurt your
camaraderie.
feelings.
No.
I
I'm
think
just
I
saying-
did.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I just regularly talk about Chips didn't perform, and I'm fine with
But
that.
I do think
But-
it's a good distinction to make that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just meant
my
financial.
point is, Charlie's Angels is the movie we're talking about.
Yeah.
People who watched that movie saw my ability. It didn't tarnish my skill set. But also, I've never made a horror movie or anything. People are still taking a flyer on E-Banks. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was like, yeah, but I want to do this one now. And somebody did have to go like, I think she can do that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. What's I think sometimes curious for them to try to assess is you didn't become a bad director. You still made a great movie that is your point of view.
Yeah.
But they might wonder, does this person's point of view align with mass appeal? You could
Yeah.
go, oh, this is a very well-made movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know that this person has a sense of what people want to see. I think I'm guilty of that a little bit. It's like I'm always trying to put some romance in a car chase movie. People are like, no, either give me a car chase movie or give me a love story. I don't need to see both. So I don't know that I have the best barometer for that, to be
Yeah.
fully honest. But regardless, you didn't feel any kind of dissipation of
I
your
did not. I didn't
leverage.
really.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I read Cocaine Bear. It read on the page, I loved all the characters. Coen Brothers-esque. There's a bunch of scenes that are not even in the movie
Yeah.
that were like talky, fun. The things that as an actor reading a script, you're like, oh, there's so
loved
much
it.
meat on the bone, you know,
Yeah.
for everybody that's going to play. You know, and you can't quite visualize the bear on the page.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
By
Can't make
far
it-
the scariest part of it. I can't make a CGI bear. I don't have that
Right.
skill
You
set.
can rewrite a scene.
Exactly.
You can pick
I
your...
can cast it. I can edit the thing well. I can put the right music with the right thing.
Yeah.
But if the bear looks like shit,
Yeah, if they put you in front of a Macintosh and say, create that bear, you're...
I'm done. So, you know, having the right partners, but then even with those partners being like, all right, trust.
Leap of faith.
And you got to feel like the studio's going to back you up if you're like, it's not working or it's not good enough. Now, very luckily, and very early on in the process, before we ever went to the shoot, there was so much work done on the bear.
You need to know what you're working with
Yeah.
before you go and shoot the movie, right? Because you're like, I either need, this has got to be Jaws. Like, we're not showing the bear
Well, it
until
had to
we
be a
have to.
photorealistic. I wanted a Nat Geo level bear. you know?
Yes, of course. And I can't imagine you had the full budget to go.
No, you can't have the bear in every scene. It is the titular character, so we also can't scrimp on it. It was a balance of figuring out how much do you got to see the bear here versus do we just build the tension with,
Jaws.
you know, something else? Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
And people have probably asked you this a million times, but were you just a huge fan of The Americans?
Yes, virtually the entire cast
whole
of The
cast is
Americans.
in it.
Well, so here's what happened. I worked with Margot Martindale on this series called Mrs. America. And I, like everyone who ever works with her, fell in love. So when I read the script, in my mind, she was that character. But I don't want to say anything because the other ideas on the table, which were all great ideas, were not the 70-year-old lady Margot Martindale idea.
Did you just say 70?
She's 70 years old.
No
Oh, wow.
way.
70.
I would have put her at 52.
Woo!
Get her over here.
Yeah.
I'll tell it right to her face.
She's going to love you. I'm almost 50.
Yeah, I know that. You're older than me.
Are you
She's a
49?
year
Yeah, I'm
older
49.
than me.
Yeah.
Wow.
February
I would guess
10th.
Yes, baby.
39.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
If,
right.
I,
do
if,
get
you
that.
hadn't done
Nicely
so
I get that a
much.
lot.
Yeah, if you didn't know her body of
Exactly.
work.
Exactly.
In her
Sure, sure.
body.
And in your body work or your body, a
My
body.
literal body.
Yeah.
So Margot Martin, right? So
Wow.
it's like
70. That's
so
a-
the 7-year-old character actress is who I want. In my mind's eye, she's cast.
and she's got the only love storyline going
Well,
on.
that was a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So the Carrie of it came after talking through who that character was. And then Carrie's name came up and we were all like, she'd be amazing.
Of
Like,
course.
can we get
She's
her?
perfect.
She and I were working on something else together, which made it very easy. I was like, hey, that other thing, great, but that's a ways away. Do you want to maybe come over and play this? Carrie was in first, is my point.
Okay.
I didn't even bring up Margot's name until deep into the casting process after we had gotten David. And then I was like,
Yeah.
maybe this is crazy, but can Ranger Liz be Margot Martindale? And everyone was like, great idea. Sure, let's do it. So now I had 2 of them.
Yeah.
And really all that happened was we had to shoot that plane scene, the opening scene. It was not in the original script. So I was like, I really want to open with this airplane. I wanted to lean into the real story.
I loved that.
Right.
Just so we even understand where the bags of Coke came from. You know,
And
that
how
was
many
not
are there?
in the
I
script.
wouldn't mind seeing the full lot before we start.
Exactly.
Because it's already absurd. You do need to ground it in something.
Yes. I had seen the real news footage of the event, the plane crash. And I also wanted to put that in the movie. So I was like, if we pair these things up in the first act, like we'll get a lot of credibility for this crazy ass.
Yeah. This completely incredible.
This thing that like everyone's like, that's not real. It's like, actually, Tom Brokaw's here telling you it's totally real.
Yes.
We were in Ireland. We had to put it on a pre-shoot day. We did the airplane scene in a hangar on the same day that we did like hair and makeup tests and things like that, right? So we're trying to save cash. And I really wanted it to be a cameo so that you didn't think he was going to die.
This is the famous Hurt Locker
Guy Pearce. That's
we lose
right,
him
Guy
right
Pearce.
away. You're like,
That's
whoa,
right.
you just killed Guy Pearce.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted that sense of like, oh, they got that guy. All right, well, he'll be around then. Bonk. So it's fine.
Yeah.
We were not flying anybody to Ireland. This was
local hire.
It's a local hire.
Start casting local hire.
Disenchanted the movie was shooting in Ireland right before us, basically, while we were in prep. And it has Jimmy Marsden in it, Amy Adams and Idina Menzel, and Patrick Dempsey, right? So I was like, maybe Patrick Dempsey will come do this.
Telling yourself that that's,
Yeah. I was like, let's start lining up their schedules. What's their shoot? Like, is he even on the island? Like what's going on? Because the other thing was you had to quarantine still if you flew over there. During this conundrum where I was like, oh, I'm going to have to start looking at just local guys.
Yeah.
Matthew Reese, who I've known for 20 years. Matthew Reese and I met at an agent's house.
What?
My first week in LA. He was with his friend Jan Griffith at this house that we went to, and we had dinner, a small dinner, like me, Max, Matthew, Jan, like maybe 2 other people, and these 2 agents at this dinner. We've run into each other over the years many times since, but we fell in love with each other back in the day. He texts me kind of out of the blue. He's like, yo, I'm coming with Carrie. He's Welsh. His in-laws are coming over. They're creating a little family time.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm coming over. I've read this crazy thing. Can I be Andrew Thornton?
Oh.
And he
No.
sent me a photo of himself.
No.
He had a mustache.
No.
And like the hair. Meanwhile, he had no idea that I was in a full stress over who it was going to be. It was like so hard for me not to literally just text back, yes! I was talking about my husband doing it.
Okay.
That's how bad it was going to be at that point.
Had he started to get excited about it? Did you have to break it to him?
Oh,
Hon, I
Max
guess we
was not interested.
we gotta go with Reese if we
I don't know
can,
where it
right,
is.
hon?
He's like pulling off his mustache that he
was
taped on his
Putting
face.
it
Like,
gently in his
okay.
pocket quietly.
We recently went on spring break with those ding dongs too. So we also have a text chain just called Spring Breakers.
Oh, spring break to where?
Yeah, where'd you go?
We went to Mexico.
Did you go to Puerto Vallarta?
I didn't go. I did
That's
not.
where the Love Boat always
I
docked.
remember Acapulco and Puerto
Acapulco,
Vallarta.
yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
We went to the Rosewood Mayacoba. This is not an ad
What
because
should
I
be?
paid there.
Oh, you did?
I paid
Well,
to go.
I would love for them to sponsor us. so.
Yeah, you would. In the Mayan Riviera on the Caribbean side.
Okay, yes. Wonderful. Beautiful. Everyone
Yes, and the
enjoy it.
Yucatan.
Yes, in the Yucatan.
yeah.
Okay. I'm hoping this goes away. I think it will. Because I don't regularly bump into someone who's also had the pleasure of directing Isaiah Whitlock.
Oh.
I could not stop giving him lines. You never want it to end. And there was a
Correct.
point where Nate, my producing partner, was like, you're not going to be able to really, where's
Use
all
most
this
of-
going?
yeah,
I'm like, I
exactly.
don't know. I
I
can't
just need it.
get pride away from him. How incredible is Isaiah Whitlock?
All-time great.
And then a sweetheart.
The sweetest guy, although I have a funny story about him. I guess no spoilers, but he dies in the movie, right?
Yeah, we lose him.
So I've got the camera up and he's climbed up there.
How about just him showing up with this big old Slurpee and he's like fucking adjusted himself. He's got this big thing. If I were in the theater and I had a remote, I would have watched him walk from the car to that gazebo about 25 times.
Thank you. We almost cut that. I was like, no, we
well,
can't cut it. It's
no,
so dumb.
it's
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So he's up on top of this thing doing this speech with the late, great Ray Liotta, is his
Yes,
scene
yes.
partner.
Yeah.
I'm watching the 2 of these guys, and he's up there and he's thinking about this dog
Yes. Yes.
and the tears. We're at the monitor and we're all,
Got you. Yeah. We'll go there in a second.
we're all hysterical. Like, we can't recover. And the camera's like lifting up as his spirit leaves his body, And he's thinking about this dog. No,
little
not
dog.
Rosette. Don't kill Rosette, you know?
She's a good girl. What is
she's such a good girl. Such a good girl. His voice broke every time. And he really felt it like he was losing his lover.
Yes, the love of his life.
There was nothing ridiculous about it at all. He's like, this is the end. And if I can
When he
save
stops-
the dog, it's the main thing I want to do.
When he stops at the payphone, what a turn.
Yeah.
Trying to return this dog. He thought he would get a more masculine macho dog. That's what he's had his eyes set on, maybe a black lab or something.
He
And then
wanted
he
to
pulls
play
over at that
fetch.
payphone, and then we're like, oh God, he loves the dog. This is
he's already in love.
tremendous. What a good runner. I can't wait to see how this pays off.
Great.
I know.
Oh,
We love
so
that dog.
good.
Thank you.
He needs to
Oh,
ha-
so the most funny stories. We have everyone over and we're going to play like a version of Celebrity. We call
Yeah,
it
the favorite
Empire.
Oh, we love Empire.
We love
Okay,
Empire.
right. So Empire. So we play Empire. And you put in a character. Like somebody's in the bowl and everybody has to guess who put in who.
Who
That's
you
the
are.
game, right? So Isaiah put in Ron Jeremy.
Oh my God.
And no one could figure out who the hell put in Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, you'd be looking at me. Like if I'm at the party, it goes to me,
We
and then it
looked
probably
at
goes to Max.
everybody else on the round. We never looked at him for that name.
That's a good one.
And he didn't really understand the game, so he just was like, I don't know. But I love that that's who popped into his head.
Yeah,
Do you
the
know what I
hedgehog.
mean? He contains multitudes, is my point.
I hope that this gets back to Isaiah Whitlock. He's our favorite. In
We can
fact,
text him
they
anytime.
commissioned me to write chips too, and I started, and the whole fucking sequel was going to be Isaiah Whitlock. He was like moving to LA. He got a
love
boat. I gave him a boat, and the name of his
Oh.
boat was D's Knots.
Of course.
I think it's important for the audience because I can predict the comments will be, what is that game?
Empire?
We need to explain
Oh,
it because
sure.
in case people want to play it at their own parties.
And so if the four of us in this room right now were to play it,
Yep.
we would all write down a celebrity's name.
Yeah, on a piece of paper. And
On a
we'd
piece
stick
of
it in a
paper.
bowl or a hat or something.
And then it's your turn, and you pull out
Well,
Diane
no,
Sawyer.
No, they
Oh.
all get pulled
That's
out
right,
at the beginning by the reader.
Yep.
Who reads all the names.
Yes.
One time.
We do it twice.
Because a big part of it is
Memorizing
memory.
all
The
the
whole that's
names.
really the whole game.
Well,
At the end.
But you don't have
By
to
the end.
You don't have to memorize. The whole point is like you need to collect people who've remembered a couple random ones so that your collective memory can win the game.
But it's
right?
best
Yeah,
if
but-
you're the head of the empire, you're the king
Of course,
or
well,
queen.
you want to be the king or queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so often
Well, really, the best is you put a name in that nobody
That's
remembers.
the best.
The goal is come up with a name that never gets said
there's
again.
two things you want to do. What I wouldn't do is put Burt Reynolds in the hat because
Yeah.
everyone in this room would immediately know that's Dax.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I always try to pick some kind of like musical theater-y type person because I don't
okay.
know anything about that.
Okay.
And then what happens is when it gets to you, you go, Liz, are you Chichi Rodriguez? And Liz goes,
No.
fuck. Then it goes to Monica. Someone's got to be
Yeah,
him.
and I
Monica,
say-
are
Yeah.
you Bernadette Peters?
How'd you know that?
No.
Wait, you were thinking that?
I was
you
on the
said,
verge of saying Bernadette Peters.
because
Why?
you just said theater person.
I almost interrupted you to say Bernie Peters. That just fucked me up. That was a Xanthem gum
Oh, wow.
moment. That was crazy.
Wow.
Okay. So,
yes, I am. How'd you know it was me?
Okay, now you're on my empire. Get over here.
That's
I
right.
now control her. We're a team.
Yeah.
And now
You
you
guys
guys
start whispering. I think
Exactly.
Rob is
so
Burt
who,
Reynolds.
so
Dax wasn't.
Dax wasn't so and so. Who do you think he
I
is?
think he is
Oh, he
Christina
must- I bet
Applegate.
he's
Yeah, I was
Chichi
gonna say-
Rodriguez, and he asked as a decoy. Because that's also a strategy.
It is.
100%.
Like,
but
I
I
asked
see through
yours.
that all
Yeah,
the time.
me too. It's a
I
bad
But
see
also,
through
you don't
that.
want to remind people of your name.
That's exactly right. If Monica got on my team,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first things people often ask is like, well, who are you?
Yep,
So we
Yeah.
stop
exactly.
asking it.
Yes.
And I'm always like, no. I don't utter the name.
okay.
You don't
Never-
tell?
I don't even tell.
Oh.
Because you just remind the other teams
You have to be
That's
very
right.
careful.
what the names are. And you're trying not to give away names.
So as this happens and there's 20 people, at some point, quite often there's like
It's
2 or 3
19 to
solo
whatever, yeah.
people against a group of 19 in
Yeah.
Empire. And quite often that one person remembers Chichi Rodriguez
That's right.
and fucks everyone up
And
and
takes
wins
it.
after not
Takes it.
Yes.
That's the best feeling.
I love that
Yeah.
feeling. It's normally a couple teams that do it though, right?
But every now and then,
Every
there's
now
a
and then there's a
solo.
solo
Lone
holdout.
Wolf.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the
And
best.
Isaiah Whitlock, a star.
He did it.
Lone Man Wolf.
Because we were like, there's no way. We never pinned it on him. Couldn't pin it on him.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a really fun game.
Yeah.
I
Ron
recommend.
Jeremy, that was a good one for him to throw
First of
people
all, a
off.
horrible human, as it turns out.
Did you ever? There's no way you would have, but there was a documentary about him. It's worth you watching. I'll
He's
tell
in
you
jail
why.
now, right?
Oh, For
yeah,
what?
yeah. He's a
Sexual misconduct?
Yeah, yeah. If you can believe it.
Well, he's a porn star, so it's a little. You're kind of like, really, dude? You also
Well,
got
but
to
here's the problem. Yeah, he went on the regular.
not at work.
Yeah.
where he's supposed to keep his sexual
Correct.
proclivities.
Where he's supposed to be a whack job weirdo.
Yes.
You know.
He had an out, but then he
No,
still-
exactly.
He got
already
greedy.
had an outlet.
He got
Exactly.
greedy. He was
Why are you
fucking
doing this?
all day long at work, and he still had to fuck more.
By the way, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right
Probably
about
gonna get
that.
sued.
He's not. He was found incompetent.
Oh, incompetent.
Stand trial.
He was too incompetent to stand trial for the charges.
There was no blood in his brain.
Oh.
It was all in his penis.
He's not a terrible person. He's just an incompetent person.
He's an incompetent person. He's a bumbling predator.
All right.
In the documentary, you learn that Ron Jeremy suffers from narcolepsy.
Oh, yes, I've heard
And
this.
he also drives himself everywhere.
Oh, my
And
God.
there's lots of footage of him in heavy traffic. Oh my God. Falling asleep. And I gotta say, thank God no one's hurt. Now we can laugh at it. And boy, can we laugh at it. It's insane. He also makes this insane face as he's falling asleep, which I'm gonna show you right now. Maybe Rob will take a picture later. But he goes like this. He'll be driving, all of a sudden he starts going like this. He does this gross dog thing. He's like licking the front of his teeth. And he's like, and then he's out. And you're like, oh my God, the car's still moving. It's like LA traffic. And then he's like this. And then he goes and comes back. I mean, I could watch him do that for 5 hours.
I could watch your impression of it for 5 hours. It's so good.
Gross. He's driving.
Oh, God, that's gross.
Ew.
Hopefully your younger listeners don't even know who we're talking about.
Well, let me tell
Well,
them.
he's an icon.
His nickname was the
Terrible icon.
Hedgehog.
Sounds right.
He's a shorter gentleman. He's very hairy.
Short, hairy.
Rotund, big,
Round.
big
Like
beer
a
belly.
barrel.
A very large and, from my point of view, unattractive
Girth.
penis.
Oh, sure.
Veins like, whoa.
No.
Whoa. Yeah, it was like someone cooked a sausage way too long in the microwave. There's something about it.
No.
Oh my God, I'm just remembering I had a real life run in with fucking Ron Jeremy.
Did you?
Yes. About 20 years ago, I was at Bandera, that Houston sister restaurant, and I walk into the bathroom, and Ron Jeremy's at the urinal.
Wow.
And I say to him, so
Wow.
I'm 25.
The penis is out even.
I said, do you want to have a
That's-
cock off?
Oh my
You did
God.
not.
I swear to God, I did.
Wait, were you sober yet?
No.
Okay. That
No, I was
makes
not.
more sense.
Yeah.
This is
I was
ringing
probably
now. It's
5 or
making
6
a lot of
Jack
sense.
and Diets deep.
What does a cock off mean? Showing each other or peeing?
A showdown,
or,
like let's
or
see,
like
let's see
that
who's got
game?
a bigger. No, nothing sexual. No sword play. Is
Okay,
that what you
that's
thought?
what I was
That would be.
thinking, yeah.
I'd say, hey, you want to do a sword fight?
Oh, okay,
Which he
okay.
probably would be like, he'd love it. Yeah, he licked his teeth and got right into it.
Did you get a look?
No.
Oh,
I didn't. No, we were separated by a person, and I actually yelled it over the person in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah.
So real classy.
Super classy. Oh, okay. Well, Cocaine Bear, absolutely loved it. I've seen it 3 times. What an accomplishment. I hope you are so happy and proud.
I am.
Good. It's so fucking good. Now let's talk about the Beanie Bubble.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's why you're here. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
July 28th.
I'm so excited.
Did you have Beanie Babies?
You're asking that as a serious question to me?
Who knows?
No, unfortunately, I never had a Beanie Baby.
I don't think I ever had one either, actually. But my brother's 12 years younger than me, and he had a few.
Yeah.
If you're a 90s baby, then you had
that's
them.
right. 87. But my
35.
parents weren't cool, so they didn't buy me any. I'd have to beg and beg and beg, or like do the dishes or something to get the $5 to buy the Beanie Baby. So I had a very small collection where some of my friends had enormous collections and in the cases and the resale and all of that. And when I knew you were coming on today, I was talking to another Liz, and I was asking her about Beanie Babies. She said she had one. She had the monkey.
Okay.
Is that a high value?
No, but I said my most valuable one is Liberty.
Oh, Liberty.
What's going on with Liberty?
Liberty's a bear with a American flag.
Yeah.
Oh, Liberty.
Liberty.
That's right.
Oh my God, that took a long time.
But there was a donkey and a elephant
Yeah.
and the bear.
Oh, Republican.
It was a
and
very
political
political.
release.
That's right. But I looked it up today to see what they're worth. Some are saying $75,000 for Liberty.
Wait, for real? You own it right now.
I think it's in my parents' basement somewhere.
Girl.
I have to find it.
Girl.
Wait,
I
the
know.
market's back? Because in
No.
the film,
No,
the
no.
market collapses.
Well, it does, but there were still so many limited edition Beanie Babies.
that some of them held their value.
The originals.
Very few. It's still part of the cultural, like, right? It's like collecting a ball that Babe Ruth hit. He hit a lot of balls.
At
But-
least it's
but-
part of history. Yeah.
but
I mean,
there
none of
was
these
a-
things have any value. That's
This
what the
is my
point of the
Right,
movie
it's
is.
back to the beginning.
It's all stories.
Yeah, these are the NFTs and crypto of the
Yeah.
day.
My mom, if she threw it out, we're in a fight.
Yeah, I'm going to need an update.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'm going to find it.
Obviously, I knew about Beanie Babies in
Yeah.
that they were on the news all the time, and I was aware that people were collecting them. I was, of course, cynical, as I've always been throughout life. And I was like, this is preposterous. Whatever, who cares? First and foremost, aside from the movie being good, we'll talk about that later. Just learning the story of the Beanie Baby bubble was incredible. And for people who aren't super knowledgeable about how Goliath this thing was, once eBay came along and the secondary market took off, they were selling $200 million a month.
A month.
A month
God.
of Beanie Babies. Now that will get me hard as a rock, Liz. You can keep Monica's t-shirt bear, what was it called? Liberty.
Don't dilute the value.
Yeah, I think they were doing $1 billion a year
Of profit.
of profit.
Oh,
Yes,
my
they're
God.
doing $1 billion net. And then all in over this crazy saga, that thing generated $20 billion.
Yeah. Of wealth for people.
It's insane.
Yeah. Crypto did that just recently.
I know.
And then if you played it right, you
Yeah.
generated all this wealth. And if you didn't play it right, you got nothing.
yeah.
You know, it's wild. But again, it goes back to the very first thing we were talking about, this sapiens idea that we make all this up. We create the thing that we give value
scarcity.
to. Exactly. We didn't have to decide that it was gold way back. You know, we could have said it was peanuts. Has to be
Yeah.
rare because
Yeah.
that imports value.
My
and
Jordans.
things that are
I
harder
was thinking,
to get. You know?
I was sitting there watching it very
Yes,
judgmentally.
The Jordans are very, and then I
very
bet you love
and
it.
I was like, okay, I got to admit that I'm
or
on
like
this.
a Lamborghini.
That one I would argue I don't fall for. I have very expensive cars. I'm not going to pretend I don't. They're all performance related. They're not scarcity related. The
Okay.
value that I see in them is
I see.
performance.
But you're getting something that there are only so many that perform at the level.
I'm willing to spend the money on this performance because
Yeah.
I know it's safeguarded by its scarcity. So I
Right.
can always unload this
Yes,
stuff.
yes,
so
yes.
it does play a role in it in
Yes,
that way that I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I'll get my money back or more. But the Jordan thing, I'm just fully on the teat of.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like sucking on this scarcity of, oh my God, there's black and green ones now for
know.
2 months.
There's lines around the block, you know, on Melrose. Like
Oh,
you go over
huge.
there.
Yeah, I'm watching it pretty judgmentally, but then I recognize I do it with the Jordans, and then I realize like I love the whole Jordan preoccupation I have. It's fun. It's like
fun.
duck in and out of it.
That's what it was. And remember, parents were doing it with their kids at that time. What else are you doing on a Friday? Like, well, let's go
Yeah.
figure out where the new Beanie Baby is, Mom.
Let's go tackle some other
Yeah.
moms.
Yeah, the moms got intense.
You know, and then you're on eBay, which felt so new and cool. And like you were, you
Yeah.
know, you're packaging it up and sending it to somebody in Ohio. It's like having a pen pal or something. You know, I don't know.
You're in
It was
business.
the future.
You're an entrepreneur
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, you're
It's
not just a
empowering.
mom. You're like an entrepreneur out of
Yeah.
your garage.
Well, there's a woman in the film.
Yes,
Yeah, so
totally.
she turns a box of them into
That
a
was all-
timeshare and a Mercedes.
Yeah,
if I recall.
exactly. Somebody else turned it into a college fund.
Wow.
So that's the global A plot of
Yeah.
this is you're learning about this whole journey of the Beanie Baby, and of course you're learning about Ty Warner, who I knew nothing about.
Me neither.
He's played by Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Easily the very best thing he's ever done.
I don't know how he'll feel about that, but when they came to me and said, we think Zach's going to be tied, I was like, oh, he's perfect.
I think he's
so good.
brilliant. But if I were you, I might have been like, no, there's some heavy ass lifting. I need to know, is he going to be very sincere about this? Which he was. And he's brilliant. He reminded me like John Goodman in his prime in this.
Oh,
There's
that's so
some
great.
Goodmanness to him.
Or like Robin Williams, kind
Yeah.
of like a sad clown known as like Mork for a while. And then, you know, had a whole
Winning
second
Oscars
career.
and-
Yeah, exactly.
Anchoring your
Good
favorite
Will
movie,
Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. Oh, the best.
Best.
So you're in it. Zach Galifianakis is in it, playing Ty Warner. Sarah Snook, aka Shiv, and then Geraldine. Help me with her last name.
Viswanathan, yeah.
Say it for me.
It's either Viswanathan or Viswanathan.
She's tremendous. That was my
So
first time
good.
seeing her, and I'm a little obsessed. In fact, we talked about this last time. Like Ewan McGregor, Train Spotting. You know, like a breakthrough for me. Not for her. She's already done a bunch of stuff.
She's done, yeah. I saw her probably first in Kay Cannon's movie Blockers.
Belle saw her in some movie where her parents were running her dating app that she said was brilliant.
And she's on this Daniel Radcliffe show.
Yes. with a curious name.
Missionaries? What is it?
Miracle workers.
Miracle workers, not missionaries.
Missionary position.
Missionaries.
It's called missionary position. It's on TNT.
I meant like do-gooders,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
missionaries,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind,
makes
not
sense.
sexual.
Okay.
She's a genius. She's so funny, gorgeous.
Love her.
A delight.
And
But
then
everyone
don't
was
rule
great.
out this old shoal pony because she comes in and drops the hammer every other scene. You know, you're going to have to get through this. You were in a Soderbergh movie. Was it with Matt Damon?
No,
Who-
I was with Shannon. I did Magic Mike.
That's not what I'm thinking
Triple
of.
X or whatever it was.
What was the thriller you did?
I'm not in what?
I called you
Next
as
3
the
days.
point.
The next 3
I'll
days
look it up.
with Russell Crowe.
Probably.
Yeah, I was good in that movie.
And it was a drama. Basically,
Yeah,
it was
it's
the
a
first
drama.
drama I saw you
Oh,
in.
yeah, yeah.
I left the
That's
theater and I immediately, like Cocaine Bear, I
Yeah.
called you.
Yeah, you did.
And I said, Liz Banks, you are an incredible actor. Like, I was so blown away with how good you are dramatically. We're already over this. We already know you are. But again, here I am watching this Beanie Baby movie. I'm reminded. I'm like, God, Liz Banks is a fucking powerhouse. I mean, you're sensational.
Thank you. I'm friends with Kristen Gore. She wrote it and directed it with her husband, Damian Kulash. I knew she was adapting the book.
There's also a documentary with the same
Yes,
title.
exactly. I knew that she was adapting it for Imagine for a long time. I didn't know she was going to direct it. And she kind of called me up. She's like, I think we're going to do it. I honestly read it and I was like, she knows me. She was like, this is a pitch I'm going to hit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. As I said, like the A storyline is this kind of rise of the Beanie Babies and then the collapse. But really, it's a story about the three women in Ty's life and how responsible they were for Beanie Babies and what little credit and financial gain they received from it.
Yeah.
He was a vampire. Well, is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think ultimately we always hear about these mythological men,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That like
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Elon Musk.
Tim
Dax
Cook.
Shepard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Dax Shepard.
We don't hear about Monica.
No. Yeah.
Where's her story?
Yeah, right.
So the first page of the script was the sort of voiceover, meeting the women, and it's like, this is our story. And I was like, oh, this is intriguing. Because I didn't know anything about the Beanie
It's not
Babies
Ty's
and all
story.
any of that stuff. You start reading, and then you realize, oh, they're really just going to tear apart this idea that anybody does any of this by themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's so cool.
Facebook is not one person. And by the way, Ty, not taking anything away from him.
Yeah, he
'Cause
clearly
he
had
was a
a
genius.
savant
Yeah.
level. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I will say there are varying degrees of responsibility for
Yeah.
certain projects. I think there's a wide spectrum. And I think what this exposes, in fact, his genius would not have gotten him even close.
That's right.
It wouldn't have.
No, he had no
Because
business
your
sense at all.
character, you're the first one in. You're on the ground floor. You
Yeah.
start the company with this guy.
Yeah.
And you build it with him, brick by brick.
Yeah.
And then he gets this wonderful Maya, played by
Geraldine.
She's the one who recognizes this
The
eBay
whole
phenomenon.
thing.
She's the one that realizes they can market based
she's
on.
the one who
she
made it a billion-dollar
created
company.
The fervor.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For sure.
Yes. He could have sat in his little office all day.
I think there was even more scenes where you see her writing in the tags and stuff.
Oh, that
like
was in
coming
there,
up
yeah.
with the
Oh, yeah.
like in the raps and all this
She had,
stuff. You know
all
what I
kinds of
mean?
rhymes.
Yeah.
So the third woman in his life, who is Sarah Snook's character, her children are creating some of them. There's even a period where they were getting credit for that.
Oh, wow.
On the tags.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a Greek story. It's so old.
Well, narcissist, that's what he is. He's a narcissist. That word is Greek. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
how
yeah.
old this idea is.
Yes, and he is, but I also think that's a little too simple. I think what I more recognize is many of us are that way, which is like there's never enough credit. I think we all fight that. You have to think about that regularly and push yourself against that.
I think for absolute sure, when you're young and starting out and insecure,
Yes, and afraid you're not going to be able to do
that
this.
absolutely is true. I can recognize that in myself.
Yeah, me too.
But I also can recognize the older I get and the more I'm like, I'm secure in what I've got. I know how the credit will fall to me or not. Now I can shine my light on other people with ease. And he never got there. Not because he didn't get enough money.
Yeah, because
Do
he's
you
a
know what I mean? Like,
billionaire.
it was never going to be enough for him to not just be like, it's all me.
Well, but I'll tell you, probably feeding that is the true knowledge it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like a
That's the insecurity.
self-perpetuating.
That's the
Yes.
insecurity. He knew it wasn't all his.
Yeah. Like if you hadn't directed your movie, which some people don't, you might be really trying to stake some claim on it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you
yeah.
did, so you can be gracious. It's
Yes.
almost a tell.
Yeah.
So the women didn't get any money.
Kind of the point of the movie is that they all figured it out and made out.
They did.
But,
Okay.
but once they left him,
They all went, we have to twist this and we have to see our value and we have to get the hell out And that's how they all did it. Yeah.
I can't wait to
But-
watch this.
Which is not to say that there was justice, because especially the Maya character, she was making fucking $12 an hour.
No,
Yes.
no.
How
Yes, it reminded me
heartbreaking is
of
that
my
scene?
CPK story when I got
How
a 7
heartbreaking.
on punctuality and then I quit over it. And then he left me a message on my voicemail. It said, I'm willing to go to an 8 on punctuality.
Oh my God.
She comes in, she finally makes a stand for herself, and then he brings her up to $20 an hour on the night he's announcing he's doubling everyone's salary and that they hit $1 billion in profit.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing. It's laughable. So she
Laughable.
didn't get justice there, but
No.
luckily
In
other
real
people had
life.
observed how talented she
Yeah.
was, and she had a
Well,
career
she went
after.
on to Pokemon and like helped make Pokemon.
Pokemon. Okay. Okay. There's no E.
What do you
I mean, there is an E in the
Pokemon.
spelling, but you don't say it. You don't say Pokemon.
Do I? Or
I say
what
Pokemon.
What do you ask
I'm learning that I don't say it correctly. You just said Pokemon.
Pokemon. The
Pokemon.
E isn't long. I think it's a short E.
I've been going with a long
Pokemon.
E this whole time. Is
Yeah,
what I'm
you've been
admitting
going
to.
Pokemon.
You know, when I admit
I
my
don't know,
feelings to
maybe
you,
it's
you can be
Pokemon.
gentler in response to
I
me.
don't-
You rub my nose right in the.
I honestly don't know which of us is right, actually.
I'm sure you're right. I have terrible diction.
I have no idea.
We both are magna cum laude, so it's
hey,
going to be
let's
it's gonna be a tough one for people to decide.
What school?
Penn.
Yeah, I knew it was somewhere fancy.
Yeah.
Forgot.
I was
but-
just at my alma mater this morning participating in a class.
Really?
I was, yeah. I went back to UCLA, and it's 2 weeks before summer's out,
Yeah.
right? And the vibe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how
Wait.
do I go back to college? I
God,
gotta
I
go
know.
back. I gotta figure this out.
You did. That's what we do as a job.
I know, but I want to be on campus getting excited that
Oh, I
there's
know. I
2
do love
weeks.
campus.
Yes. People were showing up, like some people had clearly
Wait,
got
why'd
fucked
you
up
go
last
there?
night. I was a guest of Jason DeLeon's for
Oh,
his
how fun.
LA Anthro class. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my God, with all these little bright eyes.
Yeah.
I know
it
the
was
babies,
so
the
sweet.
naive loves that just have the whole world
whole
in front of them.
world.
Talk about a reality, like blurry. Trying to get a grasp on who you are is impossible, I find.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm 48. What does that mean to these people? So as I'm sitting there talking with my former classmate there, who's now a professor there, I'm like, we graduated 23 years ago. Like the students aren't even 23. They weren't even fucking alive. There's no way I can see how old I look on the stage. Like, I think I'm pulling it off. I'm in kind of good shape. I rode a motorcycle there. I got my hair. And then I walk away and I'm like, no, you were bringing up your graduation years before they were born. You sounded insane. They don't want to hear anything you have to say.
You know, I go back and forth of like, I'm not cool.
Yes.
No. So I do a lot of like, I'm on the gram, like,
Yeah, sure.
you know, and I'm like, I don't know. Am
You have
I
cool shoes on,
Nobody,
I
yeah, but
think.
nobody. These are like from 1995, by the way. These shoes. These have a funny story. These were made by Adidas for Miley Cyrus. And then I was in their showroom
Getting
and they're
free
like,
shit.
these were supposed to be for Miley, but she didn't pick them up. They're your size. I was like, yeah, she was a child.
Yeah. And they
They're
weren't
so
cool enough for her, so the old lady got them. She's like,
I was like, I'll
that's a-
take them.
She's like, that's a pass for me.
Anyway, really, the only thing I've come to is being authentic. I don't even try. There's
Yes.
no keeping up.
Yes.
I can't do it. It's authentic that you rode your motorcycle.
Yeah, I
That's
wasn't doing
you.
anything that's not
No,
me.
But I just mean how I come across to young people now is I must just seem like old batshit nothing. But then I'm like, I don't know. Or maybe it's okay.
Young
'cause
people went and saw Cocaine
I'm
Bear.
authentically myself.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
So I agree with you. I'm going to be true to myself, but I don't know that it's not worthwhile to try to evaluate the audience and like imagine how you're coming across, being self-aware.
Yes, but it's hard.
And you can't
I
change
don't-
to match it. You should.
Well, you can. I mean, I can play a character in my own life
Yeah,
that's
young-
cooler
young
than
Liz.
me. Do you know what I mean?
27-year-old
Yeah.
Liz.
I can dress a certain way. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
You have kids, right, lady? No. Way too young. Probably 8 years. I want to do it when I'm 35.
Yeah, exactly. I could spend more money and time in figuring out what's cool.
Right. But
But I
even if you
can't.
did, what we would need to do is I would have needed to mic that space so that after I left, I could have found out
Right.
what really happened
Yeah.
in that 2
That's right.
hours.
Yeah.
Which I would want to know. It wouldn't kill me. I think it'd even just kind of confirm my hunch. Some super old man came to class today. He swore too much, which maybe he thought was cool. But again, that's really how I
Right.
talk.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were like, oh, this guy was trying to sound young by swearing too much. This is a classroom. No one wants to hear. I don't know. The whole motorcycle ride home, I was like, I don't know how that went.
I'm going to leave this and think the same thing.
Oh, come on. When I was in college, I would have thought that you were really cool.
You would have?
Yeah.
Oh
This
my God.
like
Think
old,
he's famous?
older
Never seen him in
guy.
I
anything?
heard Tom Stoppard, the playwright Tom
Oh,
Stoppard.
yeah. Huge.
Okay. He came to visit Penn. And because I was a senior in the theater arts department and he was speaking for us, and then he spoke at a larger dinner, we were in charge of taking him around.
Oh,
Whoa.
And he was old then. I mean, he was
Yeah.
like, whatever. I was like, I will fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him
Yeah,
until
yeah.
he's dead in my
Yeah.
bed.
Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did he was like my Mick Jagger.
no, she met her
I'm like
husband
a
on the first day of fucking
Yeah, of course I
school.
couldn't. But he's
Dang.
like a
The amount of
god
choice
of
dick
like,
you missed over the years breaks
babe,
my heart.
Babe,
It really
breaks,
kills
I could be
me.
a lot more famous.
I know.
Over time, though, works
Yeah,
out.
you're gonna get the last laugh.
It's all gonna work
But there
out.
was some choice dong that was aimed at you.
Sure.
I witnessed some of that.
Have
Yeah.
you seen my co-star
I know.
list?
I'm telling you. I'm sure they were
Yeah.
all driving themselves mad.
Oh, man.
It's fun. I know you're sober when you were like, how are you? Existentially, right now, I'm in a place where I'm like, my kids are gone in 10 years. And when my kids are gone, I'm like, how many drugs are we doing?
Okay, great.
Oh, you're
How many
counting down
orgies
the
are we
days.
having?
Yes, great.
I'm going to get fucking nuts.
Oh my God. I hope I bump into you during this phase.
Like, I'm sort of like,
Yes, you're
what's
gonna-
left to protect
You did
that
everything
point?
safe. You went to college. You
my
got the good
God,
grades. You
I'm
went to
such a goody
Hollywood. You made it for
two-shoes.
yourself.
Guys,
You worked hard.
I just did mushrooms for the first time.
Oh my God, you did? How did you
Yeah.
like it?
It was a delight.
Yes. What was the setting?
My husband's 50th birthday.
Oh, okay.
And I rented a house, big chill style, although no dead body, a 50th birthday.
Also a reference that only you and I know,
that's
but
right.
let's go.
I had a big chill at this house in Venice Beach.
Uh-huh.
Friday, Saturday night, no kids, adults only. We were all staying there together with like our greatest best friends, which is when you're going to try something, you want to be with the people that you trust to take care of you in case it goes sideways.
Yeah.
And it was a fun occasion, and we're getting old. Like, let's try stuff.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I've partied. I don't have any FOMO. Let me be clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've
I
thrown
did
up
it.
at the
Yeah.
most luxurious places
I've
around
done
the
it.
world.
I sure have. Please. I fell on the dance floor at Madonna's house. You know what I mean?
Before you go, I want to work through one hypothetical scenario.
Are we back to AI?
I think we're back to your orgy.
No, you did.
Would be my guess. Yeah.
So we're fast forwarding 10 years.
Okay.
And this is the ostensible plan. You've already been floating it with Max for a while.
Sure.
He knows that this is the game plan.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Let's go
urge
crazy.
you to be very tactical about who you're inviting to the orgy
Of course.
because you don't want to tip your hand too much.
No,
Does
no,
that
no,
make
no, no, no.
sense? Let's say you want Chris Hemsworth to be at this orgy.
I do.
Right. Of course you do. That's why I picked him. So we want Chris Hemsworth.
Uh-huh.
Do not opening round of bidding tell Max like, oh, we should get Chris in.
I like that you're telling me how to negotiate with my
Yes,
husband.
you need
Here's
to.
how
You
I
need to
negotiate
not.
that with my husband. This isn't hard. Have you seen Chris Hemsworth's wife?
I haven't,
No,
but I
but
know
we
she's
can
a legendary
imagine.
hottie,
Yeah.
right? She was with someone else before. Someone famous.
Hopefully she'll be with me someday. I mean, let's go.
All right, good point. But still, consider my advice, which is like your first pick.
Yeah.
Should be your fourth pick.
Sure,
That's
sure.
all I'm asking. Because let's play it all out. Your first one is like, let's get Chris in. I hear they're in town. You don't pull that off. Then everyone arrives. And now he's just going to be a little more paying attention to like how quickly
Yeah.
you're interacting. As opposed to Inception, plant a seed. Maybe hopefully it's Max's suggestion.
First of all, I love the Dax. I feel like you're coming.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
the
that's definitely
seed is
where
being-
this is heading.
The seed's being planted
inceptioning
right
you.
now. I'm as tall and broad-shouldered as a Chris Hemsworth. I could be a
mean,
number 4. I could be a
Shirts off.
backup
I'm
to
not
a Chris
afraid of that.
Yeah.
To flatter you, I'm not suggesting you first.
Okay. I got a wink.
For the audience, there was a wink.
I might throw your name in the ring like
Look.
4th round.
Again, I'm
So
I'm
happily
celebrating
married.
my 20th wedding anniversary.
Wow,
But
congratulations.
also even
July.
crazier than that, you've been together for 31 years.
Wow.
That is preposterous. 31 years.
So I personally am in a place right now where I'm just looking ahead. I'm addicted to my kids right now.
Same.
They're amazing. And I can't wait to see what happens next. And it's going to be hard and amazing and all the challenges that are going to happen in teenage years. And do they go to college? What is college?
I
Is the
know.
world burned
Yeah.
down? I don't know. Do they get married? I have no idea. But I'm so excited to like see all that play out. That's number one priority. And then I want to feed my marriage and my personal life. But I also feel like what's amazing about when you're with someone this long is the level of trust
Yes.
is so
yes.
deep that you can be like, I want to try some crazy shit, you know?
Yeah.
Look,
I
none
have
of this could ever happen. Is
Well, hold
my
on, though.
point. I want to remain open to experiences and not shut myself off from things
Yes.
forever.
You want to keep
That's all.
expanding, not
I want to
narrowing.
keep expanding. That's it. I
Yes.
want to keep learning. And also, what am I capable of? Because maybe I'm talking a big game and I'm not even capable.
We're going to find out.
I don't know.
So we got 2 check-ins. We've got an AI check-in scheduled for 3 years
3
from
years
today.
from now. Yeah. And we got the 10
And
year
then 7
check-in.
years after that,
That's right.
we'll just check in and see how this orgy
we'll
plan
We'll
went.
put some keys in a bowl.
But I will say, look, you already know this about me, but yeah, I was with someone for 9 years that we had an open relationship, and there was the most insane amount of trust ever, and it just didn't bother me at all. I was like, this woman loves me to death, and I
Great.
love her to death.
I'm not personally interested in but maybe this will change. Again, I'm open to the idea that I will change my mind about all
Yeah.
kinds of things.
I wasn't
Going
saying
forward.
as suggesting you
No,
should
but-
do it, just I know that sense of I feel unthreatened by all this.
I would still want to do it together, though. That's the difference.
Because you love
I don't
watching
want-
Max fuck.
You're the worst. You're so crass. So crass. No, because it just preserves us having a shared experience.
Yes.
Versus you go off and do something that I'm not a part of. That's not
That's not
interesting
what
to
you're in
me.
the market for.
Nope.
That's great.
No, I'm not
you want
interested.
30, 40 people in the room. Everyone's together.
Community.
Yeah, community building.
Isaiah will be there.
Oh my God, I'm there.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm there. I will do nothing but watch him. That's all I'll do. I'll give up my spot.
Are you a jealous person?
Gosh, it's such a good question. Yes, to some degree.
I mean,
of course.
everyone is to some degree, I think.
But not in my relationship. When he gets flirted with and stuff, oh, it makes me so happy.
You're happy for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
It's a delight. If I get to spy on him, like we were meeting at a bar, he was with a friend and I was going to show up and meet. And then I got to come in the door and I saw they were like talking to these women, were talking him up, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't know I was there. I got to stand in the corner and
Watch
like
him
watch
operate?
Yeah, little flirts with these lady tins.
It's kind of sexy.
And it was hot.
Yeah.
And also I'm sure he felt amazing.
Yeah.
So
Getting
great.
attention is nice.
I have made many actors feel uncomfortable on red carpets because anytime I'm with Kristen and one of her crushes is there, I am like on it, hardcore.
But what does that come from? Is it a test?
I want him to be flattered.
Yeah, but you're telling him?
Yes,
Or
of
you're not
course, because
having her
she
tell
would
him?
be afraid, and so I want to make his day.
Yeah.
And then also now she gets to chat with this guy she's in love with from TV,
You
and I
kinda-
love that for her
you
too.
You kind of use it as like a bridge to like have her
a
meet.
wingman.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
I'm a
okay.
wingman.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
But I do think a couple times because people have a very hard time believing that I'm not jealous, as you just did. You just furrowed your eyebrows like there's some weird test here. Not happening.
No, not that. There's an interesting psychology to a guy who's like, I want to tell this other guy that my wife wants to fuck
Has
him.
a crush on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or wants to fuck him. Whatever. Yeah.
I'm
I
using
guess
your
that's what a
crass
crush
language.
is. Yeah.
So I find it interesting that you need it to be out. You want to say it out loud.
Because I'll tell you why. If I found out who's a very popular couple, I just thought of one, but I don't want to use that one. Let's just say that Ben Affleck and
J-Lo.
and J-Lo.
Sure.
If they were with me and he knew she had a huge crush on me and he was kind of denying me that would be so fun for me to hear. I'm not going to do anything with J-Lo. I'm not going to try to get her number on nothing's going to happen other than I'm going to feel insanely special and flattered for that whole evening.
Yes.
And so he could give that to me if he chose to. And so I presume a lot about other men. And I can't imagine there's a guy on planet Earth that if they
Doesn't
found
wanna
out
hear it.
Kristen had a crush on them, that would make them happy.
That's a nice way to think about it.
It does do something in the room, though. I think it is really
Well, I was gonna
interesting.
admit to that. So with
because
a
you
couple
have
of the-
control over that
That's it.
experience.
Also right.
It's also saying, I know that this is the case.
right.
So just so you know, I know, and yay, and everyone play, and it can be
I'm
fun.
interested in the
know.
moment that Kristen just bumps into somebody in your
Right.
presence and on her own says, "Oh my God, I have the biggest crush on you."
That's fine, and that's happened. There's other times where she's not going to go up to Riz Ahmed and tell him this.
Yeah.
That's an exact example. But what occurred to me is after I was pitching her to Riz, and I'm looking at his face, and I do register there's a little bit of nervousness.
Right.
And then I really am looking, I'm like, oh God, what I never thought of, does he think, we have a kinky thing? Or I'm trying, I
you're
want to
trying to
see
rope-
him
you're
fuck my
trying to
wife,
rope
which
him
I
in.
don't want to
Yeah.
see. I didn't really think that he might be nervous. I'm trying to get him ensnared in our lovemaking, which I'm not. But that's the kind of thing I've had some short-sightedness because most of the time it's happened, it's always great. Everyone's excited
I think
and it's
some
lovely.
of it too is like, I don't know how well Riz Ahmed knows who you are. I know you, and I know if you went up to somebody and said that it's a fun, benevolent, I know your spirit. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it's just Riz Ahmed's like, who's this guy again?
Well,
He's
like,
trying
it
to
feels like a
trapping
trap.
pawn his wife off of me.
That's the thing.
You know?
I think that
And
he
is he
was
gonna
like,
beat me up?
Yes. Is this a trap?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
is it either perverted and he wants us to join their lovemaking,
Right.
which I don't, or is this a bizarre alpha move where it's a trap, and
Yeah.
if I flirt back, he's gonna get weird.
Exactly.
Neither are the case, but I didn't really consider someone might interpret it that way.
But also, when you do it, you're still declaring we're on a team, which is nice. It's like we're on a team, and she likes you, but it's still us.
Well, I think it's a very safe way to
team.
tell someone that they
Yeah.
have a crush on you. It's like everything's safe. We're married. Nothing's
Totally,
happening.
totally.
Yes.
But isn't this delightful?
When you guys sent me the video after Cocaine Bear, which was so generous. I mean, I said that to you when I saw you after.
Say it in public, though.
Like
You didn't
that-
say that here
yeah.
today.
It's so generous of spirit to see something and be like, that's great. And I know this person and I can actually tell them that I enjoy their thing that they're doing. And you're absolutely right. I say it all the time, like, nobody hates to hear it. When
Right.
people are like, oh, I
We
don't know
tell
if it's
ourselves,
okay if I
don't
tell
do
you."
it. They'll feel
Yeah.
annoyed.
Someone's like, should I tip? I go, everybody likes money.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anytime someone's like,
Yeah.
should
If
I?
you're ever debating a tip, just do it.
just do it.
Yeah.
Same. If you're debating the compliment, do it. So I'm as inspired by you guys.
Oh, okay.
I've started really
Reaching
like,
out when you
reaching
see
out when I
something you
hear or
like.
see something that I like. I just did it actually with Conan O'Brien, and just this sense that you can be generous with love. Just put the positivity out.
You'll share the shitty thought.
Hopefully not with the person.
No, but I'm saying when someone sees a movie they hate, they're very happy to tell everyone why they hated it.
I try not to do that.
No, I don't do it in public, obviously, because it's very hard. But if I'm with Kristen in bed, she's going to hear about what I thought of this movie. Get real. You're like, oh my God, I'll eviscerate something because I know how the sausage is made.
That's
and sometimes they really
They
fuck up.
they didn't make it right.
And I need to share that with her. So it happens.
yeah.
But I have to neutralize that by anytime I like something,
You need a balance.
yes. It's kind of like no one ever calls the manager over to say, this service was exceptional. Now, when they've had terrible service, they'll call the manager over. And I'm just the type of person like, hey, call them over every now and then. Just say, I'd love to
It
see
was
your
great.
manager. They're nervous. Then the manager comes over. I just want you to know that you got the best employee in the world.
It's so great when you do. I do that on airplanes a lot, actually.
Who do you tell? The pilot?
I will when I'm getting off. These guys really took care of us tonight.
Oh, that's nice.
When they come over and they introduce themselves, they use their name. Just use their name.
yeah.
It's kind.
It's the
I don't
minimum
know.
you can.
Maybe do that.
Yeah. And tell people when your wife's hot for them. I think they generally goes well. There's been a couple of misfires, but
I don't disagree. Telling people they're great or that they've moved you or that you're excited or that you're hot for them.
it's all going to be met with
fine.
pretty favorable response.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we didn't agree on AI, but boy, did we agree on the compliments. And that's the most important things. We
I'm
found
not
our
sure
way.
we disagreed on the AI.
I know. I'm just trying to make this a seamless.
You're basically
trying to
get
land
the
the plane.
fuck off the couch, Banks.
Take your broke ass Miley Cyrus shoes and your torn up jeans. It is kind of funny. We had a conversation about how old do we present because you do look like an 11-year-old girl right now after all that. You're like ripped up jeans and some colorful high tops with like doodads on the fucking. You have a flare on the laces.
I do. That's from Cocaine Bear, actually. I had those in the 80s. So Cocaine Bear, the girl character, Dee Dee, is 12 years old in 1985, and I was 11 years old in 1985. A lot of the stuff that she's wearing and doing and doodads and everything were my obsessions.
Oh my God,
right?
fun.
Yeah.
Those
I
kids were
like those.
so good.
I know they were so good.
They were
Oh my God.
beautiful. They were like so
They were
sweet
great.
and wonderful.
So great.
You knocked it out of the park. But also, everyone should see Beanie Bubble in theaters July 25th.
Yeah.
Of course, we drastically prefer you go see it with an
Please
audience.
go see it with an audience.
Share that experience.
It is super fun and
Thank
funny.
the pilot afterwards.
That's
Call
right.
the manager over and tell everyone what a good job they did. And then if you are detained or in the hospital, you can also watch it on Apple Apple Plus on July 28th.
Yes.
Love you, Liz Banks. See you in 3 years. I adore you.
Stay tuned for the fact check so you can hear all the facts that were wrong.
Hi.
Hello from Marta's Vineyard.
From Martha's vagina.
You know what I've already learned here?
What?
People say the vineyard. Did you already know that?
No.
Okay. People are like, are you on the vineyard? We're on the vineyard. When are you going to the vineyard? When are you leaving the vineyard? It's just the vineyard.
Oh my God. Okay. Good thing you learned that.
Right. Like if you were in Wedding Crashers and you just say Crashers. When we were shooting Crashers.
Oh wow. Okay. It's a jargon, but I bet it's one of those jargons. It's like nicknames. You only are allowed to do that if you have gone.
Right. If you're not a poser, but I'm a poser. Okay. I don't belong here, and it's quite obvious, I think.
Wait, I wanted to talk to you about that actually, because look, I want to go there. That's a place for me. I know it.
Right. Of course. Oh, it is. It is.
I was born to be on the vineyard, you know?
Yes.
But I imagine, and this is all based on stereotypes, that the vineyard would be a place that would be very triggering to you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Very waspy was my assumption.
So waspy.
Yes.
And rich white people.
Yeah.
Again, to me sounds like paradise, but
Right.
I could imagine you feeling like, what is this?
Of course. Yes. And it should. But a couple things. One, I think there's even, I don't know, in the hierarchy of it all, I think like Nantucket's bougier or waspier.
Okay.
And then there's but by the way, I just zoomed out from my Google Maps, your location, and it's very interesting. It's very close to the Hamptons. Like if you were to take a boat south, it looks like it's probably like 60 miles to Montauk or maybe 80 miles or something. Not far. And then Nantucket is just north. It's another island north. I think the ferry ride is like an hour and a half. It's not like the ferry goes very fast. So they're all like, it's like a big chain, and it makes sense. Okay, so if you were a New Yorker, you would have been in the Hamptons in Long Island. But if you're in Massachusetts, you would go to Nantucket or to Martha's Vineyard. And they're all right, kind of all in a chain.
Got it.
Yes. Okay, that had nothing to do with the socioeconomic thing, but.
But it's still interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I still in my mind could maybe I'd go to Nantucket and get triggered, but I don't know. Here's what's happened so far. Ted and Mary, the loveliest people on planet Earth, met us at the ferry. They took the moms to the grocery store. Eric and I went and got a rental car with the kids, took them to the house. Then Ted and Mary and the moms showed up, groceries. Then we go to this little market, and they have gluten-free pizza they make there, which is a big win. So you pull up, there's a huge porch, and then not even picnic tables, just like rocking chairs and a bench in front. You can sit on this huge porch and eat the food you get from the market. Right when we pull up, I see my favorite guy, Don Roos, who I talk about on here all the time, and his husband, Dan. So right, like I am prepared to be triggered, yet I meet Ted and Mary, and they're the coolest people in the world. Mary's from Arkansas, for crying out loud. Ted's from fucking Flagstaff, Arizona. So although they're now of means, they're also from dirt roads like me. And then Don Roos, I've known forever. And so we bump into him, and now I'm chatting. And then I go, oh, okay, I think I get the appeal of it. Now, mind you, all right, I'll add a caveat. So then we're sitting out on the porch eating all this food. And then I am watching people pull up. And I did say to Eric, a lot of these dads look like the guys I see in American Greed that go down for white collar crimes. Yes. Like a few of them looked like when you see a white collary dude, but he looks very aggressive, it looks like one of those guys from. So I guess I was kind of being judgmental of the people I was seeing.
Oh, I see.
I just imagined they were all in banking or some kind of thing. And then I went straight to American Greed. So it's not completely out of my system yet. The main thing that has shifted for me that has mitigated the class warfare thing is like, I don't feel less than anymore.
Yes.
So it's like I see the same stuff, but I'm not in an emotional state of feeling less than, or that I'm a poser, or that I'm an imposter. I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
And then it allows me to just observe them as they are without any kind of emotional baggage attached to it. So yeah, I'm having a delightful time, and I think increasingly I do have a delightful time around people I would have claimed to not want to be around a decade ago.
Me.
Yes, you. Snooty Georgia graduates. Cheerleader, state champs.
No, you said you would have liked me.
Absolutely, because you have a sense of humor. So we would have been in one of these AP classes.
Yeah.
And I would have been cutting up a little bit. You would have liked that.
Yeah, I think so. Knowing your particular sense of humor, yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be disruption for the sake of disruption. It would be good material.
Because I'm against that.
Exactly. But no, it would be, it would be pretty good material. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. You wouldn't have liked it when I was smoking out the window of the teleconference class I had, the AP.
No, I would have eye rolled at that.
Yeah, you would have been like, I don't want to smell like cigarettes, you dirtbag. Get out of here.
Yeah. But then what would happen is you would accidentally leave one of your essays on the table. Mm-hmm. It would fall on the floor, and I'm polite, so I would pick it up. But when I lean down, I pick it up to give it to you, but then you're gone. You had already left.
Oh,
okay. So then I'm stuck with this essay, and I was like, oh, I'll give it to him
I
tomorrow.
love where this is going. You're going to read it at home, aren't you?
On I opened my Trapper Keeper to study.
Sure. Proofread yours for the
That
same.
smoker's essay, I got to remember to give that to him. Oh, wait, that's an interesting opening line. And then I keep reading. And then I'm very shook by your mixed messages.
Right. Well, that would be the dream scenario. Have you seen that in a movie? Because that feels like a very 90s or 80s thing that would have been great in a movie.
I'm sure I did. I mean, there are no new ideas,
Right. You find the bad boy's essay. That's a good device.
Yeah.
Maybe you invented it.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched enough rom-coms in my life to have definitely, it's just at the surface,
It's the architecture in which you think in now. It's like the format of your brain.
It is.
Yeah. Salerno? Salerno?
Oh, Calabanga de Gerano?
No. Salerno, the you talk for another person.
Soliloquy?
No. Salerno, I think. And then they made a movie. We've talked about this on here a few times. They made a movie, and Steve Martin, it was called Roxanne. He had a really long name.
No, we're talking about de Bergerac. Cyrano de Bergerac.
Salerno de Bergerac?
No, Cyrano.
That's the name of the story, though, right? Cyrano?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Okay. The guy who's talking
and
through
that is what
else.
I was trying to say when I said Calabunga.
DeGeneres?
Yeah.
Ellen's brother, Calabunga DeGeneres.
Yeah. It is funny because, and of course I understand this. So I was listening to something recently, and somebody who I like and trust and know was telling a story about somebody, this asshole, and was like, and he got in this really fancy car.
Sure.
And then this person said, not like everyone who drives a fancy car, they clarified that doesn't equal being bad.
Right, but it doesn't help.
It doesn't help. And then that's confusing. It feels weird.
Well, yes, I think about this all the time. We are a country that makes a lot of sacrifices to keep the ability for someone to rise out of poverty and become extremely wealthy. We make a lot of sacrifices to make that our model, right? There's pretty great inequity.
We believe in that.
Yeah, we believe that's the American dream.
Yeah.
And we do know, unfortunately, statistically, that people don't rise out of their economic class they're born in with any real significant number. But we all want to protect that because we all think we'll be rich. But what's interesting is, and I thought this was most repugnant during that submarine thing.
Oh, my God. I know.
I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. So, I think people immediately pointed out, well, they're putting all this money into that rescue when they could have rescued the refugees. And it's like, okay, well, hold on. Those are two different issues. This is exactly the same as when people are talking about police brutality towards black people, and they go, well, what about black on black murder? That's much higher than the police. If they really cared, they would go after it. It's like, no, wait, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
You don't need to pull in this other thing that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. That number could be anything. It wouldn't mean it's okay for there to be a 3x rate of black people dying at the hands of law enforcement.
Right.
Those are unrelated.
Yeah.
So this refugee thing is completely unrelated to this submarine thing, in my opinion. Those are not, those are.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I do. I think it's bad that they didn't put in enough effort there, but that is
That's not the fault
me.
of the, yeah. So
Exactly.
And of course, it's elective. Going in a submarine is elective. I get that argument. It's elective. No one needed to do that. But at the end of the day, there were, I don't even know how many people were in there, 6 or 7 people
6, I think. Yeah.
that knew we are going to die in this thing.
I know.
We're going to die in this thing.
so
We're either going to
upsetting.
implode in it or we're going to run out of oxygen. But and just the waiting game of about to die. Like, that is such an agony that everyone should feel sympathetic towards.
I fully agree.
But people were happy. Some people were happy. Like the glee that they had that these rich people were dying in this thing they didn't need to be doing made them happy. And that's very disturbing to me. But I'm also reading this great book right now, and fuck if I can't. It's called Trial, I think. It's by a New York Times journalist. I'm going to forget everything, and it's really good. I think I talked about it on here before. The book's really about how egalitarian early civilization was, and early tribal hunting and gathering societies, which of course is well documented in anthropology. But last night's chapter was about the air raids over London by the Luftwaffe in World War II. And they have all this data that the suicide rate went down. People checking into the mental health facilities plummeted. By all accounts, that terrible event that created so much wreckage and tens of thousands of civilian deaths ultimately raised the overall sense of well-being and morale societally, and that in the towns that didn't get bombed, their numbers of suicide rates stayed the same, and so did their being admitted into mental facilities. And then the same thing happened in Germany. So then we bombed Dresden, even 10x of what was happening in London. Like we just, we buried Dresden. Same thing happened there. Suicide rate went down. In the towns that weren't bombed in Germany, their mental health stayed stagnant. But so the whole point of all this data was that the simple act of chaos gives everyone purpose, and it immediately erases all of the socioeconomic distinctions, all of the racial distinctions, all the education. Now it's just people surviving. And once people enter that zone of collective purpose, there aren't really mental health issues. It's incredible, but and so, and that somehow feeds into this rich, I guess, because we are so engineered to be egalitarian and to self-police. They even say, like, even in Katrina, all that was represented that, people were looting and violence was up. In fact, the crime rate fell. It said in this book, and the looting was actually people just looking for food. It's not really looting. And that immediately they started self-organizing. They started having their own law enforcement. Like the community started policing itself. And I think we have such a strong inclination to police anything that's not egalitarian or equal or fair.
Yeah.
And we want to punish those.
True.
And in a society where someone gets so much more, it would appear from our primitive brains that they have stolen to get that, or that they, right?
There's an unfairness.
Yeah, something's unjust if they have more than you. It's all very confusing. And I just thought it was peculiar how excited people were to make memes making fun of that submarine, even before we knew the fate of it.
The first thing I saw was Adam Grant posted something basically saying this, like, it's pretty atrocious to see all the memes and like jokes and stuff about this is a tragedy.
Yeah. I think I thought of a good analogy for it, which is, we're sitting there, the rest of us who can't afford $200,000 to go on a submarine to go see the Titanic, we're looking at that going, that's completely unnecessary. And so you reap what you sow. But I will point out that any civilization that doesn't have air travel, that would be looking at the West going, these people need to get in the sky and they need to be everywhere all the time. Why? so they can say they went to the places. Like they could have the exact same assessment as a commercial airline crashing.
Yeah,
and if they
for
were
sure.
excited and elated by the fact that these Westerners who for some reason have to go all over the place.
Like they chose this. They were going on vacations.
No one
and
had to
stuff.
go in an airplane to stay alive. You're doing it because you have a crazy job that, none of it would make sense to a, hunting and gathering society. But if they were celebrating because a plane crashed,
I know.
that would not be the best version of them.
No, definitely not. It is complicated because, in some ways, what you're saying about the book, it's almost an endorsement for socialism in some ways. It's like making everything a little bit more even overall leads to a healthier society.
Yeah, the problem with socialism is it's not egalitarian. It's not the community making the rules. It's a central organization somewhere in this country, this story we tell, that's deciding who gets what and distributing and trying to respond to things that pop up. That it just doesn't work. And it's actually, there is a force above everyone, as opposed to like a small group of people who can self-organize and self-police. And as they say, like a tyrannical leader is impossible in a hunting and gathering tribe because 3 men will just bond together and murder that guy in his sleep. Like no one can get away with being tyrannical or they'll be killed.
Yeah.
But communism was completely rife with these criminal cadres who were on the grift. Like that wasn't egalitarian at all. It was just everyone suffered pretty equally, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it is tricky. So I definitely think there are pieces. I don't know if you listened to last Tuesday's health update from David. We did a Flightless Bird health update.
To explain the break he's going to take?
Yes. So we're moving to probably every other week on that show because he has a back problem. He needs surgery.
Yeah.
And it is interesting hearing the whole saga and what he was going through here. And then what happened as soon as he went to New Zealand, he got into the doctor immediately. He got 2 MRIs. He couldn't even get an MRI here.
Uh-huh.
And, those are the parts I think that drive people mad, right? People of means and privilege have access to better care. That is not fair.
Right.
So there are real pieces, and then everything just gets thrown on top of it. It's like, that's not fair that they have better care, which is true. And so also they are more likely to be assholes. You just start conflating all the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we project life's evils on rich people.
Oh, yeah. But I think the healthcare thing it's tempting. Everyone wants it to be binary, right? Like there's a good system or a bad system. Ours is bad. New Zealand's is good. Ours is bad. England's is good. Canada's is good. Mm-hmm. But I'm friends with several Canadians and English people. They fucking have plenty of complaints. Like they're very upset with you're really looking at trade-offs and what percentage is it good? I don't know.
Yeah, nothing's perfect.
But I do think there's a lot of people on the left that have this fantasy that if we had the NHS, any of these national health cares, that would be utopia. And it sadly won't be utopia.
No, it won't. It won't. But I do think it would relieve. David has an HMO here. Mm-hmm. And so he was paying $300 and something a month here and for an HMO plan, which is not ideal, right?
Right.
And so, and he couldn't get in weeks and weeks to get the doctor. He had to keep going back to get referral, a mess. And he's paying a lot. $300 a month is a lot.
Yeah.
The thought we came to is, so in New Zealand, he has private insurance as well. You can go the public route, which is free, or private, and he has private. But he was saying, the public healthcare system there, he was is kind of equivalent to that HMO. You have to wait. It's hard. It's not easy. He was but it's free.
Right.
So at least you're not spending all this money and can't get the care. And he just paid out of pocket on all this stuff here so he could just get in.
Yeah.
And even his private insurance there is $200 or something New Zealand dollars a quarter.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's very affordable.
And I mean, they have less people. It's a different thing. Like we can't.
they have
like
3
you
million.
said,
We have 300 million.
100%. We can't just be like, well, see, because it's a different situation. But I also think it's good to look at other places and consider what can be done for this so that we're just not in this crazy polarized, these people hate these people, everyone's mad at this. This is like, I don't know.
The highest percentage solution is some compromise between these two positions, and we're just caught in this fucking left and right thing, which is maddening. Yeah, the right would be like, everyone for themselves. I don't give a care if you're, kids aren't entitled to health care. What? And then the left would be, everyone should have the exact same health care. It also ignores all these realities. Like, there's going to be a best spinal column surgeon. Okay, so that spinal column surgeon is going to have a wait list of 10 years. And that person's entitled to charge what their market value is. Now, what do you do about all that? There's no reward for being the best one in the whole country?
I mean, yeah. I feel like in an ideally, we would have free
basic health care.
Public health care. Yeah, government. And then a private option.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be up for that. See how that goes.
I think I solved it.
Great. Let's next thing. What else we got? Immigration.
Liz and I joked that I would run for president and it would be a Mary Kay and Ashley based platform.
Oh my gosh. Do explain.
Just like my clothes and stuff would be them. And I would talk about them a lot in my debates. I use them as like my North Star.
Would you appoint them secretaries of fashion?
Of course.
Well, first create and then appoint the first ever secretary of fashion.
I had a dream about them. They were doing one of their old movies. They used to do these little movies.
Oh, yeah.
And they were doing another one, but as adults.
Oh, right. And then they used to have cruises, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah Ramos went on one of those cruises.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have some... Oh, no.
What?
The most important fact I didn't find out about.
Which one?
Do my parents still have my Liberty Bear Beanie Baby? Potentially worth $75,000.
Right. We haven't figured that out yet.
No. Damn it.
Also, a lot of people are calling for a Pena rebuttal.
Oh, really?
To Michael Shannon episode. Which, by the way, I'm so delighted people really like that Michael Shannon episode.
I loved that episode. I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe on the next fact check or in the next couple, you should text Pena and ask.
Okay, I will. I'm going to text him and see if it got to him and then see what his response is. Yeah. The nice thing is in the comments I saw, most people were like, my heart doubled in size for Pena. Like, luckily, everyone recognizes what a beautiful, generous person Pena was every time he saw him.
Oh my God. Wow. What a story. Okay, anyway, so TBD on the Beanie Baby. I'll text my mom while you're texting Pena.
Okay, these are TBD. We'll get these in.
I feel kind of bad sending my mom on a goose chase, but I also don't feel that bad.
Yeah, I don't either. She's retired now, right?
Yeah, and I'll give her 1% of the profits.
Okay, $750. That's not bad for looking for something in the house.
I think that's great.
That's 2 months of David's HMO.
Okay, so this is for eBanks.
Elizabeth Banks / Liz Banks.
Yeah, and in the intro, I think we debated, I think I said eBanks, and you were like, I think people call her Liz Banks. And in the episode, she referred to herself as eBanks.
Oh, she did? Oh, wow. So that's great.
Okay. We had a couple pronunciations to check.
Of mine.
Well, there were just some debates.
Oh, they were, okay, great. They were real-time debates.
Yeah. The actress's last name in Beanie Bubble, we were saying, is either Viswanathan or Viswanathan. And I found out how to say it, okay?
Okay, here we go. Here it is.
It's coming.
And action.
By pronouncenames.com. Vishwanathan.
Hey, that sounds like a third option. That doesn't sound like either of the things you just said.
Vishwanathan.
Vishanatan.
I know the way they're saying it, but I think that's right.
That almost sounds like in Sarah Marshall when he's like, "Are you from London?"
I know. But that's, I think, right, because what I know to be true about Indian names often is,
Uh-oh.
I think I'm
you
thinking
thought you
about
knew,
it.
and now
I
you
did.
don't know.
I don't. I thought, okay, I'm wrong. It's the opposite.
Can I just say I'm delighted that
So many
you are so
languages.
often confused as well. It's very comforting.
Yeah. But I'm not a good,
Representative.
I'm not. And it's why I'm never invited to any of the galas.
Are there Indian galas?
Yeah. There was like some gala that Mindy was at, I think in New York or DC, and it looked really cool, and I wasn't invited.
Oh no, and it was a gathering of Desi people?
Daisy. See, that's right. I said it right.
Okay, Desi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, now you said it right. Now you're
Oh, shit.
You've caught up.
Now I get him. What if I was there next year?
Oh my God. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it was. It was like a cultural gala, which, okay. Also, this is a good opportunity for me to talk about my desire to go to more galas.
Oh, okay. You want to put that out there into the universe?
It's a goal. I have 3 gala dresses.
Right. You're a gala waiting for a gala.
I'm a gal waiting for a gala. Oh my God. That's a tagline.
Always a gal, never a gala. So stupid. We got a lot of rom-coms that we've created today.
We do.
Yeah, we're on fire.
Oh my God.
We're not allowed to do this as a writer's strike. We're not supposed to be doing this, coming up with ideas.
You're right. Oh
I want to
my
put
God.
both those ideas into Chat GTP, PTGG, and see what kind of, just the title. Always a gal, never a gala.
That's the log line.
Okay.
Anywho, I have 3 beautiful gala dresses, black tie, and no galas, except I do now have 1 gala. Kristen is hosting a gala.
Oh.
So I'm going to that.
Oh, wonderful.
Also, you guys hosted a gala for your kids' school.
We sure did.
And when I heard about it, I was like, oh my God, I'm coming to that. I told Kristen, I'm coming to the gala. I was really excited to wear a gala dress. And then you guys made it the attire California cash or something.
Beach cash.
I was so annoyed that I couldn't wear my gala dress.
That was probably just to cater to me not wanting to wear a tuxedo, to be honest.
Probably.
Yes, I apologize. It's probably my fault. But by the way, just fucking show up in a gala dress.
No, it has to.
No, because I do the opposite, right? Like I show up in a onesie a lot of places that you're supposed to be dressed up in, and people go, "Oh, that's cool, you did that." And you could do the reverse of that.
I don't think it works that way. It only works the other way. Again,
no.
ding, 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 egalitarian, ding, ding, ding.
White privilege.
Class warfare, white privilege, Indian
Male
privilege.
patriarchy.
Like, yeah, you can't come being too fancy. That looks
See, I think it's more of a crime or an offense to be underdressed than overdressed.
Not in 2023.
Okay.
It's like cool to be cash.
It's hip to be square. Different song. Huey Lewis in the News.
I thought you were going to sing. There was one that's like, I'm not going to sing it.
Yeah.
Anywho, so just throwing it out there,
You're available to attend some galas.
I am, and I will pay.
Oh my God.
I pay at these
Oh my
galas.
God, you'll pay to be at a gala. We could not be more opposite on this.
I know.
Getting dressed
you don't
up,
have any
the
gala
parking,
dresses.
Parking, you gotta get a ride there. You gotta get dropped
Yeah.
off. A stranger drives you. You're
Yes.
nervous the whole time. Has this guy been drinking? Is this
No,
gal
I don't.
still
I
up
don't
from
have
last
any of
night?
that.
Yeah.
I have 0 of that. I mean, look, also because galas are for good causes. So it's like an amazing excuse to wear my gala dress while contributing to a good cause. Good galas have like concerts.
Like the Met Gala? Is that what
I mean,
you're thinking
obviously
of?
that's the
Is that the
main
Apex
one.
Gala?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
If in my lifetime I get invited to the Met Gala, I'll be so thrilled. I'll die.
I'll go.
I will go. And I'll pay.
Wow.
I can't reiterate enough how much I'll pay.
Oh, wow. Will you, if you go to the gala and like Danny Ricardo, ding, ding, ding.
Yes, he went to the Met Gala. I know.
But he went solo. Like he couldn't bring anyone. Would you be okay going solo or would you be freaked?
For the Met Gala, I mean, I wouldn't have a choice, but I would be freaked. I would prefer to go with a buddy. But maybe by then I'll like.
You'll have so many buddies there.
I could be dating someone who would also be invited.
Right.
Just for that period of my life when I get invited.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying I want to marry them.
Will you pose on the carpet together?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Very serious. Okay. A real coming out.
Okay, so I guess I'm putting out a bunch of things. It's like, who wants to date me who would get invited to a Met Gala so that I can also go? We could post together. I'm offering that up.
Will you pay for that?
I'll pay. I will pay. Oh, man. There is a gala I have my eye on.
Oh, my gosh. What is it? You have your eye on a gala.
It's the Clooney Gala.
Oh, he throws a gala, or his wife throws a gala.
Yeah, she has a amazing justice-driven organization.
Because she's a lawyer?
Yeah, human rights. She's amazing. It's crazy. Anyway, they host a gala, and it's a hot ticket, and I do want to go. You know who went? Zoe Deutsch, and she wore 2, not just 1, 2 bone cuffs.
Oh, double bone cuff? DBC?
Yes, the piece of jewelry that I've been coveting.
Wow.
She wore 2. I know.
Wow, good for her.
I know.
We liked her. She was so fun.
Loved her.
You didn't have any thoughts about the submarine people when you were seeing those double, you didn't like wish her any bad luck or anything.
Ill will.
Yeah.
No, I didn't, because you know why? And this isn't a brag. It's going to sound like a brag, but it's not. It's actually a diss to myself.
Okay.
I don't have that. I've never had that. I've never had looking at rich people and being like, ugh, they're so rich, and that's annoying to me. I grew up in a house where like, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great if you had that. So I never, and that's okay. That's, I guess, the hypocritical piece when I hear these things. I'm like, you
Oh, every household
that
wants to
car?
get rich. Yeah.
Like, you want that money. You want that. So, and it's okay to want that. That is the society we live in. Look, I mean, it's not great, as is our whole show. It like doesn't get you anything really.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I mean, but it is natural to want it. And I think then it's just weird to kind of spend your life looking at those people and being like, ew, but also I want that. It's just strange.
Yeah. I'm going to now circle back to Martha's Vineyard, which is, we rented a very nice house, so we're definitely partaking in something that most people can't.
Yeah.
But I can tell you the funnest part of the trip so far was the ferry ride. The ferry ride is like $9. It's America on the ferry. We're sitting on the front deck of the ferry in lawn chairs. It's fucking ocean air, looking at boats, looking at all these little tiny islands, these beautiful houses. We're pulling into a harbor. Like, that was an experience. That was as good as it gets. And we were with everybody. A lot of things are true. It's like, the thing you can do is actually, for me, was the most fun thing we've done.
Yeah, for sure. But did anyone feel seasick?
No. The ferry is like dead flat. It doesn't respond. Also, the water was very, very calm.
Oh, that's nice. Ooh, okay. You mentioned Montauk as part of
Long Island,
that cluster. Mm-hmm. And that reminds me that because there's a little Montauk piece in this, I saw a movie. I went to the movie theater. I haven't been in the movie theater in a long time.
Yeah. Is this what I saw you post, like one sheet of a movie, but you didn't write anything?
Yeah. Because I was too overwhelmed to write.
Okay. So you saw that movie, I presume?
Yes. Past Lives. The actors are Korean. The 2 main actors are Korean. And it takes place in both Korea and New York. But it is so good.
What's it called?
Past Lives.
Okay. It's beautiful?
Oh, it is so beautiful and so heartbreaking, but in the small ways. It's just like life is heartbreaking, but beautiful and sweet and hopeful, but sad and complicated, but
Worth it.
simple. Yeah, it's so good. I saw it with Jess, and we were just crying the whole time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. We like stumbled out and just looked at each other. We were like, oh my God. But it's small.
They're not blowing up any buildings.
No. It's slow. Like the pacing is very slow, but it'll get you. High recommend.
Okay, I'm going to see it.
Okay. You should see it. Go see it. Go see it right now.
Ebanks. I'll be back in 1 second. I'm going to go see it.
Okay. So, I didn't even finish what I was going to say. Often in India, a TH is pronounced with as a T.
Like Germany.
I don't know enough about German.
Neanderthal instead of Neanderthal.
Correct. Yes.
Marta's Vineyard. That's why they would call it Marta's Vineyard. The TH doesn't mean anything to them.
That's what they call it.
The Germans, that's where I'm getting it. Remember, because when I was here, I was working for the German company Opel. And they would always say to me,
I was not understanding why. I just thought you just gotta be in your bonnet about
then no one
Marta's
else did either.
Vineyard.
If you don't know that, then no one else did. So yes, when I was 23, I did a car show when I worked for GM. And a division of GM Germany is Opel. They had a new minivan. They launched it. And there were 20 minivans. Journalists would fly into New York City. They'd get in the 20 minivans. We'd all drive to the Berkshires. They'd spend the night at the Red Line. Then they'd get up and they'd drive to the ferry and they'd go to Marta's Vineyard. And then they would fly out. And then a new group of journalists would fly in. And then they would drive out of and then repeat it back to New York. And this went on for 3 weeks. Every 3 days we were back and forth.
Wow.
I was working like 18 hours a day, me, Aaron, all my friends from childhood. And because the German client was who we were always interfacing with, they would say, Dax, what time do you think the ferry arrives at Marta's Vineyard for dinner?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I call it Marta's Vineyard.
Oh, I see. Okay, that needed clarification. I'm glad you
should
gave
have done it
it
an hour ago, but here we are.
And you did it last episode. You've been doing it for a bit.
Yeah.
They pronounce the T. Yeah.
All to say, they pronounce the T.
Yeah. Okay. Is it Pokemon or Pokemon? It's Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Is Margot Martindale 70? She's 71.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
She's still a fountain of energy.
I know. I hope I can be that.
She kind of
cool
carries that whole movie. I mean, it's kind of her movie, Cocaine Bear. Yeah.
Okay. We talk about the strike at the beginning of this. This episode is so funny because how do I say? I mean, we have so many people that are good adversaries for you.
Interesting.
Worthy adversaries.
Oh, worthy adversaries. Yes. Liz being one of them for sure.
Huge.
And she and I have, as we've known each other over the years, like I don't know what it's been now, 14 years, we love to debate each other.
Yes, that's the vibe. And so, yeah, it has that energy. And right out the gates, it's like there's a
Jousty
debate about the strike. And so it's just funny.
I will say, I think it's not inappropriate. It's an appropriate version. But like they're fun. They're almost flirty, combative relationships you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what the version of Liz and I have. Is it's a little bit. It's not like we're angry at each other or under each other's skin.
No.
I think that's how we have fun interacting with one another.
Totally. Yeah. And because there's a mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that leads to fun debate.
Yes.
But I did, because we mentioned mini rooms, and I don't know that people know about mini rooms.
I hardly do.
Yeah. So mini rooms are like a newer thing that studios have kind of put into place often, where it's not a full writer's room.
Mm-hmm.
So they like hire writers for a short amount of time, and often it's before the thing's even greenlit.
Right.
And then they don't really get paid much at all because it's like not done yet, or it's not. So it just sucks for all these writers. Like they're just going in and doing this like small job for not that much money. Maybe it doesn't lead to a thing. Anyway, that's just part of the strike.
Right.
Mini rooms.
Yeah, one of the issues.
Yeah. As opposed to just paying for a full writer's room.
I do get fearful people think I'm against the Writers Guild, and I'm not. I'm super supportive of it. But I've been vocal about just raising these questions that are seemingly hard to
Answer.
Yeah, or are hard compromise to find between these two parties. Like, I'm just curious. I want to flesh out all the different issues.
Yeah.
Like, I want to really debate them and find out why, these ones are good or bad. But I would hate for someone to think that I'm not fully in support of the WGA strike. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I want it to be over. I mean, we're not going to have any shows. And
That's what people are not recognizing. Is we're going to have
I know.
a big old drought. Speaking of which, Righteous Gemstones, I just got to do a 1-second ad for it. I can't believe the third season it's maybe the best already. Like, it's getting better. If I could pick one adjective to describe it, it's fucking madness. It become complete madness, but it's so funny and just so over the top. And God, is it a great show? Just loving that it's
man.
back. I'm gonna be sad when it's over.
I have to get back on it. All right. So you said that AI, you gave some percentages on AI being able to identify or diagnose certain tumors over humans. You said humans can do 61% and AI can do 94%.
Yeah, those are wrong. I think that AI does 70 and the humans do 40 or something.
I actually can't find a percentage.
Well, the
which
problem is it's you got to go per condition, right? Like, I just happened to be reading about it in our guest. It was in the research of that episode. And there are specific tumors which are very hard to identify on an MRI and that the AI can do very well. But yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of articles, especially more recently, about AI being able to identify tumors. From what I can read so far, it's all just saying, some are saying better. Well, I'm not seeing any percentages, but I'm sure Lee and Nathan have them. I just don't.
Right,
remember.
they're hard to find.
Yeah, but like breast cancer, lung cancer. It says like promising new AI can detect early signs of lung cancers that doctors can't see. Breast cancer imaging.
Minimally,
So
I think
it's
a
happening.
statement I could say without the percentages is there's a big delta between what the humans and the AI can do, and the AI is better at it, which is, relevant.
I think depending on the cancer so far, but also it's early days, so I imagine it's only going to get more and more and more.
Right. Yes, of course. Because it just gets better at everything it does all the time. Every time it does it, it gets better.
Yeah. Okay, we explain Empire, the game.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know that, because we all got really rowdy when we were talking about it.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if we did a great job of explaining it, but that's okay. Look it up.
Yeah.
It's such a fun game. We just played it,
We did it, and it's a blast.
and it's easy.
It's super easy. It might be the easiest game to sit down and play.
So play Empire, guys.
Yeah.
Play games. Play games with your friends.
Play more games.
That's the takeaway. That's it.
That was everything.
Yeah.
Well, I love you, and I hope you find your way to a gala.
Thank you. All right. Well, have so much fun at Marta's Vineyard.
Thank you. And you have fun in Los Angeles. And I will check in a few days with you.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Bye.
All right. Bye.